Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my channel, Lunatic Plays. I'm the Lunatic who plays Cities Skylines 2. And nothing is on my screen. Why is nothing on my screen? Oh my god. Um, Sorry guys. I'm as unprepared as ever. You might hear from my voice that I'm still sick. Sorry about that. That's why I'm not gonna show up on the camera today because I'm still kind of dying, but I don't want to lose any more of my streaming time, and I have to start building shit for the next episode. So we're gonna do that today. Wait, all right, let's get our YouTube here. Okay, I'm gonna get that browser on there any minute now. Any minute now. Ugh, why is it not showing up? I'm gonna bring it up there because I wanna continue listening to the fantastic life of Evelyn Hugo. Oh, I think I got it. Okay. Cool. I got it. Here it is. Sorry for the delay. How is everybody? Welcome to my live stream. You are going to witness my making of the plan for the episode. Let me see if I can maybe make the small screen larger, since I'm not on camera today. I can have it like this. So normally where I am, now you will see YouTube. And it was Rotten Manga, wait, 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And we are gonna listen to part 2. Is this part 2? It is part 2. And we see the lovely Stephanie Sue here. Okay. Sorry for coughing and sounding so ghastly today, guys. I'm still not good, and I don't know why I'm not good, because I've been feeling like this for a couple of days now. Can't seem to get well, which is definitely not good. But alright, so here we are in the lovely Concordia. We are in the city. This is as we left it at the end of episode 8. And the plan is to finish off the main island. The plan is to finish stuff over here, do our tiered Dockland Park, is to do our Docklands as well, which is going to be kind of like a commercial, a little bit of kind of like industrial magazine space here and there. I want to find a space for the crematoriums, so it's gonna be fun. And one thing that we got now that we haven't had last week is the new Dutch region pack, which got released yesterday, that has some really cool assets. I only really seen the city planner place presentation of this thing, but I've seen that there's some really cool like cemetery and crematorium assets. that we can use. Maybe not here. I don't know if I'm gonna use it here, but there's definitely some cool stuff that I think that we should have more options to use in the kind of like German Central European part of our town over here. So yeah, I'm really happy that this pack has dropped because it's gonna be great. And honestly, it kind of inspired me. Like I haven't really thought about doing a Dutch part of town, but to be honest, I was always kind of unsure on what to put in this area of the city. I kind of wanted to do something like kind of like what's this place of New York called after when you go after the massive bridge, Brooklyn. Yeah, that kind of like Brooklyn vibes, like these kind of brick apartment buildings and brick row homes and that kind of stuff. So I kind of thought that Brooklyn vibes would be great here, but now I'm thinking it could be a Dutch part of town. We could have a little Amsterdam over here, and it's flat enough that if we lower the terrain enough, we could actually have a whole system of canals going through it. And to be honest, I I wanted to have a river, like a canal, a river couplet going down here and then onto the industrial area over here. Um, I'm sorry, guys. um, and I wanted to have, hi, Ima, how are you? And oh, that's not me. That's Stephanie Sue. I put her there because I dare not show my face on camera today. I'm still sick. I feel, I feel like shit. Um, but yeah, I was thinking to put like a river here and then like a little canal complex throughout the industrial sites that we have going on here. And don't be guided by whatever you see here. It's not gonna stay. Um, and yeah, so today we have I don't even know how I went off on that tangent, to be honest with you. Today we have to make a plan for our Concordia. So the main kind of areas that we have to focus on are the Docklands Tiered Park, and here I want to have kind of like this kind of I'm sorry, Ima. I know. Um, I want to have like these like steps that people can sit on, made out of concrete, and then I want to have like a thing going through it, and like a path going through it, and then little shops and the ground kind of risen above it with a bike lane going at the top. So like bike lanes, then like a concrete terrace with shops, a little alleyway going through it, and then the steps plaza kind of thing that people can sit on, and maybe like a leveled terrain here with a small fountain or something like that. Um, and then obviously like the there's gonna be a key here, and then we're gonna have our main kind of like entertainment zone over here, and we're gonna have it's either a park or it's a special building. Let me have a look. Oh yeah, I definitely want to have these barracks. I want to have these barracks over here because I think that they look cool. It comes with I don't know which expansion pack is this. What is it called? Leisure venues. Okay, leisure venues. So I wanna bring those somewhere here, kind of like this, and then there's another one that is like a dockland kind of a building. Oh, this one, the Forum of Arts, and I want to have it somewhere here as well. So it kind of looks like these kind of old magazines repurposed into entertainment spots for like a hangout for our city, and then we can have some more magazines over here for storing goods for the supermarkets or whatever over here, and we will have a little kind of like a dockland-esque type of design on our waterfront here. And obviously we have to plan for the tunnel that we have going through here, and then yeah, so a lot of shit that we have to do. And I think that I'm gonna start all of this with adding barriers, because as you see, like as I was working away on elevating keys and stuff, I'm sorry, elevating keys and stuff, the kind of walls disappeared, and I didn't really know about anarchy locking it in place when I first put it in there. So there's little spots here and there where the wall pieces are missing. So I was thinking like, just, oh my god, and this, we have to redo it. I'm gonna put it back in place. I'm gonna do this over here. So we're gonna start out with a little bit of touch up here and there. And yeah, no, I'm really bad, Ima. Like I had fever for a week now, and I can't get rid of it. Like I have been drinking fucking paracetamol since last Wednesday. I'm really bad. I'm really bad. And I can't get rid of it. I don't know what it is. Like I had a better day yesterday. I felt a bit better, and then today morning I felt better, and I started feeling bad again like an hour ago. I started to feel like, you know what I mean? Like it started to feel like it's coming down again. Like I have pain behind my eyes. I start to shake again. I'm sweating because I have a fever, and my voice is going away. Like I felt like I was able to talk normally this morning again, and now I'm losing it again. So I have no fucking clue what's going on. And I can't breathe through my nose because I'm just congested as hell. But anyways, here I am, sacrificing my health for you guys. Subscribe. Yeah, welcome. Sickness stream. So I think we begin with some touch-ups, because obviously the keys do need a bit of touch-up, and we need to design a little bit more along here and along here, and yeah. Once that's done, then we can move on to like the big boy, which is gonna be the park. And once the park is done, we can do our entertainment zone over here, and then we will have a very clearly defined key area. And I think that once we have that done, all we have to do is to detail the shit out of it, and then we'll be ja pierdolę. So yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now. We're going to listen to the lovely Stephanie Sue about the 7 husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and she's gonna tell us all about it. I'm gonna stay rather quiet throughout today, so Let's see what happens.
A bada bing, bada bam.
Welcome to this week's Bacon a Mystery, Bacon a Murder episode, and the setting has changed, but this is part 2 of the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Okay, please, I have raved about this book. This is probably one of my favorite books of this entire year, and the year just started, but I'm telling you, this is going to stay with me.
Okay?
It's already in my heart. It's been like a week. I'm still thinking about this freaking book. I've already picked up a couple of other Taylor Jenkins Reid's books, and I've started them. They're all so fantastic. I'm going to leave all of that linked in the description. So in part 1, we talked about Monique Grant, our main character. She's half black, half white. Her dad is black. He used to work as a photographer on movie sets, like back in the 60s. But he ended up passing away when she was young. So Monique is mainly close with her mom now. And they don't see each other often. Monique moved to New York City trying to chase her big dreams, you know? And it just seems like the city's been rough to her. The city's been tough on her. Her husband left her for a work promotion in San Francisco. Okay, that's fine. Their relationship is disintegrating right in the middle of her palms. He didn't even care to get her opinion on whether she wanted to move to SF, whether he should move to SF. He just did not consider her job as even something important to think about, something to consider, which her job is pretty cool, by the way. She works as a writer for like a magazine called Vivant.
Right.
And even though she does some really good work, she had this one fantastic piece on a right to die dilemma. So that's mainly talking about like physician-assisted suicide. But now most of her time she spends writing about salad trends in New York City. It's invigorating stuff. It's life-changing. We need to know. Are people still eating tunicados? What's the next big thing? That is, until Evelyn Hugo, the famous movie star from the 60s, I mean, think Marilyn Monroe, think Elizabeth Taylor, asked her to help her write a biography. And it can only be published after Evelyn Hugo is dead. Is she dying? We don't know. But other than that, she said, Monique, I'm going to tell you everything. I'm going to tell you every sordid detail about every single one of these 7 marriages that I've had to some of the most powerful, elite executives, actors, politicians, directors. Oh. So Monique has been going over to Evelyn Hugo's place every single day on the Upper East Side to help her with her biography. And there's a few conditions about this biography. Evelyn Hugo says, Monique, you get all the money for my biography, but the only condition is that it can only be published once I'm dead. Is she dying? Is she not dying? So many questions. But she said that she's willing to tell Monique everything, every sordid detail about every single one of her 7 marriages that she's had to some of the most powerful, elite executives, producers, actors in the industry. So Monique is jotting down all these notes, but the lingering question that we kind of explored in part 1 was, why the hell Monique, you know? Why did she choose her? They didn't even know each other before. It's kind of weird. So in part 1, we talked about Evelyn's rise to fame, her first marriage to poor Ernie Diaz, and then her wild marriage to goddamn Don Adler, a Hollywood nepotism baby that beat her during the entire marriage. So when they divorced, he is now on a mission to make sure that she is blackballed from the industry, but Evelyn doesn't care. She's certain that she can build everything back up from scratch. Besides, she has moved on already. Evelyn has fallen in love with her arch nemesis on set, the woman that is trying to take all the Oscars, Celia St. James. So those two, they're dating, but they can't come out because this is like during a time where being gay or bisexual or anything that was not as straight as this pencil. This is not a pencil. As straight as this. What is this?
A spoon.
A spoon. Wait, that's not really that straight. It's giving a little bit bisexuality. I'm just kidding. As straight as this chest, okay? If there is nothing that straight, it's just in any industry during this time period, especially Hollywood, it was unacceptable. And I'm not just saying unacceptable. They would find reasons to throw you in jail or put you in the psych ward. That's what they did. They wouldn't flat out say it's because you're gay, but basically that's why. So they had to keep their love a secret. Celia St. James is gay. Evelyn Hugo is bisexual. They love each other, but it's just a struggle. So with that, Let's get into part 2 while I smash $500 worth of raspberries. I'm kidding.
Yeah, the 60s, I almost said the 60s. The 60s were crazy, weren't they? Hey, by the way, let me just go downstairs and get myself a strepsils. Maybe my throat is going to improve a little bit, and I had the Lemsip before the stream, so hopefully it's gonna kick in anytime now. Okay, I'm back. Let's continue.
It was like $20, but that's a lot of raspberries.
What are you making?
It's like chocolate covered strawberries, but with raspberries, maybe even easier. So I'm gonna smash these up while we get into part 2. Monique's mom never really liked David. David is Monique's husband, by the way. And I mean, David was okay. He was polite, but Monique's mom could see, as a parent, she could see that there was no passion. There was no connection. There was no strong love
Wait,
there.
I'm so sorry. Who's Monique?
Monique is the writer that's working for Evelyn Hugo right now.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
It's like
Monique
taking me
Grant.
out of the story.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, so Monique Grant's mom doesn't really like David. Yeah, David is
David is the one who left her to
for
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Yes, for his job opportunity. They were just like, he's kind.
It's Monique's father that left her mom for a job opportunity.
He's polite. But you know when you just look at two people and they're not madly in love, like you don't really see the passion. You don't really see the connection there. It just is one of those things where she had to let Monique find out the hard way that maybe they weren't meant to be together. If Monique's dad had still been alive, maybe things would have been different. Maybe things would have played different. Maybe she wouldn't have even married David. Maybe he would have been the one that Monique called when she was thinking about getting a divorce. Maybe he would be the one that would visit New York City to comfort her. Not that Monique's mom is second best or is like cold rice, don't get me wrong, but there was just a special bond between Monique and her dad. He's the one that actually pushed her into journalism. He didn't even know it. She was just a little kid. And he told her, you have to find a job that makes your heart feel big instead of a job that makes your heart feel small. So he made her promise that's what she would do when she grew up. Monique wondered, would she have even turned out this way? Would she have so passionately chased her dreams if her dad hadn't died? Because she wondered, and I quote, I freaking love Taylor Jenkins Reid, her mind is brilliant, but she said, would I have clung on to his every word so tightly if I felt his advice was unlimited? Isn't that so good? But enough about Monique. Let's get into husband number 3 of the movie actress Evelyn Hugo. Gullible Mick Riva, husband number 3. Evelyn was dropped from all the productions that she was set to star in, courtesy of Don Adler, scheming ex-husband, small wee-wee, angry little man-child. So Evelyn's life is falling apart at the seams. Meanwhile, her girlfriend Celia is on the top of her career. She's gonna go to the Oscars to see if she won an Oscar. I mean, surprisingly, it does not cause tension in their relationship. Like with the marriage to Don Adler, anytime he wasn't doing as well, or if Evelyn was shining a bit too strong, there was just this weird buzz of tension in their relationship. But Evelyn genuinely felt so happy for Celia. Maybe this was real love. Like, maybe this is what it's supposed to feel like. Evelyn was happy from the bottom of her heart, even if it kind of pained her a little. So Celia would be getting ready for the Oscars and she was stressing about every little hair that was out of place. And then she would turn around and say, this is so dumb. I can't believe that I'm complaining about this when you're when you're gonna stay home and your career's not doing well and I'm sitting here, oh my god, the Oscars and my hair. And Evelyn's like, no, I love you, Celia. Go have fun. I believe in you. Break a leg. And right before Celia leaves, she says, if I don't win...
Plot twist, she breaks her leg. Note to self, stop laughing.
Will you still love me? And Evelyn thought that she was joking until she looked into Celia's eyes and she realized she was dead serious. Is this what actors and actresses have become? They're so scared of losing an Oscar? Evelyn says, you could be nobody, living in a cardboard box, and I would still love you, Celia. So that night, Celia goes to the Oscars while Evelyn sits in front of the TV, in front of the couch, and she watches the woman that she loves walking the red carpet. And in the blink of an eye, she went from feeling like an outsider again. She said it was the strangest thing. Like when you're at these award shows, she said it feels small. It feels unimpressive. You know everybody there. These are normal people, whatever people. The stage is right there. It's not that grand. But when you watch it from the screen, everything looks so grand. Everyone looks so put together. You start feeling jealous of their lives. Even though Evelyn knew these people, she knew what kind of lives they lived. None of them were worth hating yourself over. But so quickly, she was an outsider again. Now, all those thoughts, they quieted down when they announced the winner for the Best Supporting Actress. And the award goes to Celia St. James for Little Woman. So Evelyn jumps off the couch and she sprung for the TV to kiss the screen as she watched the love of her life walk up to claim her golden statue. And the moment that she makes contact with the TV, a clunk. Evelyn had chipped her tooth on the TV.
No.
Yeah.
Like broken?
A little bit.
Oh my gosh.
But it didn't matter because Evelyn was too happy to care. After the adrenaline wore off, Evelyn tucked herself into the bed. Celia wasn't going to be home anytime soon, not with all the parties that she would be...
Why is she eating the TV?
...called to as an Oscar winner, but the door opened before Evelyn could drift asleep. Why aren't you out celebrating? I only wanted to celebrate with you. Nothing means anything without you, Evelyn. Everything that isn't you is a pile of dog. Wait, what happened to your tooth? Evelyn's like, wait, isn't that noticeable? I suppose not. I think I've just memorized every inch of you. It's embarrassing, really. I kissed the TV screen when you won. I kissed you on the TV and I...
The jealousy between celebrities has made her become a hobo. It's like once one celebrity succeeds, the other just magically turns into a troll.
I chipped my tooth.
Damn, they're just
Yeah.
a love story, huh?
Celia laughed so hard the Oscar flopped off from the bed. That is the most lovable thing anyone has ever done since the dawn of man. And she's like, now, have you ever made love to an Oscar winner? Ah! Stop it.
Well, technically she has. Her... Wait, was her ex-husband an Oscar winner? Was that what happened? Or was he just a Nepo baby with no rewards?
Stop it right now! Evelyn smiled and the night was just bliss. Maybe it was supposed to be one good night before reality hit. Because soon enough, Evelyn would sober up to what it meant to be blackballed from the industry. Both her movies were a flop, while Don starred in this hit thriller with Ruby Riley as his love interest. That frickin' Beats, remember her? The two would end up getting married, by the way. It was a show. Now, anyway, A Romance Celia did sold out in theaters. Evelyn was in a funk, and she knew it. The whole world knew it. She had to get out of town. So she goes to Paris. I don't know how she ended up there, but she did. If she was gonna flop and seek movies outside of Hollywood, the French movie scene was the way to go. At least she could say, you wouldn't know. I was chasing the arts in France because I'm cultured, and you're a stupid idiot. Raspberry puree.
That looks cool.
Now you put them into little globs and you put them in the freezer for a little bit to let them freeze, to harden. It was at a bar in Paris that she runs into a director by the name of Max Girard. Not me trying to be French, okay? Now, if you know Evelyn, you know nothing is a coincidence. She knew who he was. He had never heard of Evelyn Hugo before, but like all the other straight men that stood before her, it didn't matter her name, it didn't matter her occupation or what she liked to drink or anything. He just wanted a piece of her. So they start talking about their jobs. And Max is like, I don't know if I've ever met a woman so attractive. And you can act better than I look. That cannot be. And so just like that, Evelyn had booked for a new French movie that Max was directing. The movie was about two petty thieves who were on the run to Switzerland, but they get distracted by this beautiful bombshell on the way, and the three of them go on an adventure to remember. Now, of course...
Oh, she was like Marilyn Monroe.
There's...
Actually, I have an unpopular opinion. My Roman Empire, my Polish Elizabeth Hugo, Violetta Villas. Violetta fucking Villas. And the woman that took care of her, Elżbieta, what's her name? The one that like seemingly abused her and was her roommate, quote unquote roommate, until Violetta died. Right? I feel like the Polish Evelyn Hugo is Violetta Villas.
Going to be a topless scene because we're talking about French movies. Max, the director, he's insisting. The French movies are a bit wilder than the American ones, you know? Evelyn could feel the energy the moment that she stepped onto the set. She honestly had a fun time filming the whole thing.
Oh yeah, Memlock, didn't you hear about the new BB cream that can turn a Polish woman into a Korean woman with just one application? No, I'm not showing my face today because I'm still sick. Yeah, Elżbieta Budzyńska was the one. I feel like Violetta Villas and Elżbieta Budzyńska were a thing. Honestly, after hearing their stories, I think that they were a thing. No, Memlock, it's just makeup. It's just makeup, Memlock. It's me. How are you anyways?
Until the very last day, Max is like, it's time. We're doing the topless shot. The very end scene. You're going to be coming out of the lake slowly with your hair slicked back, wet from the lake water, and the camera's going to slowly pan down. Boobies. Boom. Theaters will be sold out. Max was sold on the idea, probably because he himself wanted to see as much as he could, you know? But Evelyn had a better idea. She said, yeah, fine, I'll do the topless shot, but why don't we cut it a millisecond before you see Evelyn's full breast? It would cut to black. They would do it right before, and it's almost as if someone tampered with the footage, as if it was a bad take. It would leave everyone feeling frustrated. It would leave them wanting more. And Evelyn said, there's just so much anticipation.
Oh my god, I love her. She is an edging queen. I forgot her name. My brain. Why is my brain not braining? Evelyn Hugo. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna stop talking now.
And it never pays off. No matter how many times you watch it, no matter how perfectly you pause the tape, and that's why it worked. Because no matter your gender or your sexual orientation, we all just want to be teased.
Okay.
He's like, no, I don't. Show me. Okay? So 6 months after this movie, and because I think it worked more because she didn't show everything.
So it worked.
Oh my God. 6 months after this release, Evelyn Hugo was an international sensation. International sensation. And to celebrate, Harry took Evelyn and Celia to a concert that Mick Riva was hosting. Mick Riva is a singer that all the women in the crowd, they were basically snapping their ankles, falling all over the place for him. Celia didn't get the hype, and all three of them would laugh all night. And whether it was the booze or the music or the happiness that finally Evelyn's life was back on track, Evelyn reached over and grabbed Celia's hand. And they held it a moment too long, and it shocked Celia. Harry even froze. And as quickly as Evelyn grabbed her hand, she retreated. But it was too late. There was a woman staring straight at Evelyn. And she frowned. She'd seen it. She had seen them hold hands. She had seen Evelyn pull it back as if she had something to hide. It wasn't like a friendly holding hand gesture. And now, staring at Evelyn, Evelyn's eyes betrayed her. She knew that Evelyn didn't want her to see any of that. Any hope that she didn't register what was going on went out the window when the lady starts whispering to her husband, and the husband looks back at Evelyn, and he scowls.
What?
Yeah. The next day, it was all over the news.
God
Evelyn
damn
Hugo
it.
and Celia St. James, slumber parties. How close is too close? Lately, we're starting to wonder if these two aren't up to something. Sure, plenty of girlfriends go shopping together, but Celia's car is parked outside of Evelyn's house every single night, all night long, to end their row. Yeah, that's how Evelyn got married for the third time. She approached Celia and she said, I'm going on a date with Mick Riva. What? Like hell you are, Evelyn. Why would you go on a date with frickin' Mick Riva? Celia was pissed. She wasn't understanding what was at stake here. And Evelyn's like, you don't get it, Celia. I don't have a choice. Celia's like, we have plenty of choices. Yeah, not if you want to keep your job.
God forbid that they were roommates.
Not if you want to keep this house. Not if you want to keep any of your friends. Not to mention the police would come for us. Evelyn, you're being paranoid. I'm not. That's what's scary. But I'm telling you, they know. One article in the paper that suggests something and you think that they know? Yeah, right now is perfect. It's early enough that we can stop all of this. Celia's like, yeah, or it's going to be old news tomorrow and it's going to go away on its own. Evelyn is so frustrated. She's like, Celia, you have 2 movies coming out next year. My movie is all anyone can talk about. Exactly, Evelyn. We can do whatever the fuck we want. No, we have a lot to lose. Why are you not seeing that? Celia snapped. She didn't agree. She didn't want to spend her life hiding from the truth, hiding from the world. Celia's feelings are valid, don't get me wrong, but Evelyn was a bit more of a realist. Celia didn't understand why people just couldn't understand, why the world couldn't just realize that reality doesn't matter. Love is love. But Evelyn insists they won't. They're not gonna try. There are lots of things all people should try and do, but it doesn't work that way. Just because we want them to understand doesn't mean they're gonna even try to understand us. Celia feels like Evelyn is making up excuses. And Evelyn, you're just scared to lose everything. You're scared to lose, your career, your house, your friends. That's what you care about. But Evelyn's getting frustrated because she's like, yeah, so are you. You're just not thinking clearly. I'm thinking for the both of us. I have to go out there and I have to do the hard things, make the hard choices for both of us. Celia, I love you and I cannot let you throw away everything that you've built and all of your incredible talent by taking a stand when nobody else is willing to stand with us. And Celia's getting upset, like, but what if we're not even trying? Celia, you're picturing a world where we go up against Goliath and we win. But that's not what's gonna happen. We tell the truth, they will bury us. We could end up in a prison, a mental hospital. It's not that far-fetched. It happens. This is the world we live in, Celia. Celia burst into tears. Evelyn wiped them with her thumbs, and she said, I love you so much. You're an idealist and a romantic, and you have a beautiful soul, and I wish the world was ready to be the way you see it. I wish the rest of us and the rest of the people with us were capable of living up to your expectations. But they aren't. The world is ugly and nobody wants to give anyone the benefit of doubt on anything. And I love you too much to let you live only for me. And so with that, Celia cried and argued. It's not wrong. It shouldn't be wrong to love you. How can it be wrong? And Evelyn reassured her, it's not wrong. It's not. They're wrong. So after exhausting themselves crying in each other's arms, Evelyn filled Celia in on her master PR plan. She was going to get Mick Riva, the singer, to elope with her in Vegas and then annul the marriage in 24 hours. That was the only way to get people talking. Just being seen with the guy wasn't going to cut it. People would say, oh, of course, there's rumors that so now she's going on a date? Okay. It had to be drastic. It had to be juicy. Something so wild that all the tabloids would take the story and run with it.
Evelyn is a PR genius. She knows shit.
Celia's like, you think that means they'll stop watching us? No, it means they're gonna watch me more. But they'll be looking for other things. They'll call Evelyn, me, a fool, say I have terrible taste in men. They'll say that I'm a bad wife, I'm too impulsive. But to say that, they have to stop saying that I'm with you because it no longer fits their story anymore.
Who's the guy?
The singer.
And he's down to get married?
Oh,
like
he's
that?
obsessed with Evelyn Hugo. Yeah. Like, he talks about her in interviews all the time. He's like, if there's one person I would marry, it's like Evelyn Hugo. Yeah, she's like the starlet, right? So Celia's like, okay, I get it. You'll do whatever you have to do, but this is the last time I want to hear about it. And I want it over and done as soon as possible. And when it's over, I want us to move in together. Evelyn knew that wouldn't happen, but she couldn't say no to Celia looking so hopeful over their burgers, so Evelyn just kind of nodded. But she had the perfect plan, and it had to be executed with precision. The first thing to do was to challenge a man to Las Vegas. How do you do that? You go with them to an LA club. You wear the best dress, show cleavage, but not too much. Act like you don't know that he's staring at your cleavage. Act like you don't know what kind of effect your boobies have on him. Just glow. And make him think that he's playing you. That's the only way, okay? It works both ways. You want a scandal. He wants the world to know that he f***s you. Those two are the same. So your interests are aligned, technically. You ask him, have you ever been to Vegas? Get him to peacock his feathers. Is that how you say it, you know? Of course I've been. You've been? I've only been once. I miss it sometimes, you know? Oh, it's probably too late to go anytime soon, but... I mean, we're already here. I guess this bar will do. Perfect opportunity. Any guy like Mick would jump at this chance. My guy can have a plane like that. Oh no, it's too much, truly. I mean, this bar is fun. Not for you. Nothing's too much for you, Evelyn. You know what he really means, though. Nothing is too much for me. I can do anything I want. You coyly ask him, you could really do that? Just like that? And just like that, you're on a plane. You have a bit too much to drink, or at least you look like you did. You sit on his lap, and when he touches your butt, you slap it away. You get to Vegas. You balk at the idea of sharing a room. Oh, no. We don't have sex outside of marriage, sorry. And when you're rolling dice, you drink champagne because it makes everything seem like a celebration. When people recognize you two, take pictures, lots of them. Hold onto his arm in front of everyone, and watch him watch men stare at him in envy. Every time you win, you jump up and down because you know what he wants to see. Get his imagination going. And he says, we should get out of here. You say, oh, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't trust myself with you alone. Here's another drink. He brings up getting married. Be shocked. Make him feel like it's his idea. He's pushing you. He's like, let's do it, baby.
Oh, this is so juicy.
Oh my God, Mick, you're so crazy. We can't get married. Are you crazy? Of course we can. We can do anything we want. You think about it. And then you throw yourself on him and whoop with joy. You act like this was his big idea and you're just this naive little girl in for the ride. He picks you up, swings you around, carries you to the Vegas chapel. People watch and take pictures. You know it's going to be all over the tabloids tomorrow.
This is happening or she's... Okay.
It's happening.
So you're telling me men are that predictable?
So predictable. Yeah. Yeah. Look at you. We're getting married. For what? For freaking what?
We can do anything.
We can do anything. Woo! I feel like these days my life feels like a blur, okay? I mean, I wake up, I get 50% of my to-do list done, and it's already time to sleep and wake up and do it all over again. I have been trying to be really good about scheduling in time for myself, and one of the best ways that I do that is with Daily Harvest. I ordered a bunch of Daily Harvest to our place in New York City, and I just kept thinking, you know, I'm gonna put it in the freezer. It's just for backup. If I'm really, really busy, I'll just eat a Daily Harvest bowl. Maybe a soup or one of their delicious flatbreads or their snacks, smoothies, lattes. I mean, they have everything. I'll just grab and eat on the go. Daily Harvest is built on organic fruits and vegetables. So I was like, okay, I'm going to feel good about how I'm fueling my body. That's how it started. I thought it was going to be backup, but I ended up starting to gravitate towards Daily Harvest, even when I'm not swamped with work. It's so good. Daily Harvest works directly with farmers. They source the best ingredients. They freeze them at peak ripeness. They lock in the flavor and the nutrients, and they never use artificial preservatives or ingredients ingredients, which is like a huge thing for us. It's so nice that everything stays fresh in my freezer. And honestly, I've been reducing food waste too. Because if I'm not in town or I have a ton of dinners out, I know that I'm not wasting food at home. But whenever I do get slammed with work, I always have something to eat at home. It is so convenient. I just love that I never have to think twice about what to eat next or what to snack on. I have been hooked on their artichoke and spinach flatbread. I put it in the toaster oven. The crunch, the flavors in my mouth. They also have this
Girl hustle. But the funniest thing about this particular ad to me is that typically when she does a collab with someone, she has a coupon code rotten for rotten mango. I wonder if this food delivery is also going to be code rotten. That would be a bit ironic.
broccoli, rice, and dill pilaf harvest bowl. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. My favorite is their tomato and zucchini minestrone soup. Daily Harvest does all the work, and I can just eat and enjoy. It's like a win-win. So let Daily Harvest do more so you can do less. Go to dailyharvest.com/baking to get up to $40 off your first box. That's dailyharvest.com/baking for up to $40 off your first box. So that night, you have... This is the important part. You must be horrible. You cannot be good. You must disappoint. If you're good, he's going to want to do it again, and that's not going to result in an annulled marriage. When he tries to rip off your dress, don't enjoy it. Don't even be like, oh my gosh, stop. You must lecture him like a mother. Stop it, Mick. Jesus Christ, get a hold of yourself. Lie there, stiff as a board, until he's done. Just close your eyes, do nothing. You want to cry because you remember that this is something sacred that you're supposed to do with a person that you love who's waiting for you at home. But you don't think about that. This is for the both of you. And when he's done, you fall asleep. In the morning, you wake up late. Wake up so late that he's already showered and smelling fresh, and you still smell like booze, and you've got makeup smeared all over your face. Tell him you refuse to have fun in the morning. Sorry. Take all the fun out of it. And in the morning, when he's sucked of joy, he's going to sober up and sit on the edge of the bed and say, you know, Evelyn, you're nothing like I imagined. But we were drunk. So drunk. Both of us. We had no idea what we were doing last night, right? I know, it was crazy. Look, I'm not a good guy. You don't deserve a guy like me. I don't deserve a girl like you. It's unoriginal, cringy at best. You want to laugh because you played him. But you stop. You pretend to sound sick. You're like, no, we weren't that drunk. He insists that you guys call your teams and get the marriage annulled. You pretend to protest. But he says, I'm afraid I can't take no for an answer, Evelyn. And with that, he leaves. And you throw the phone at him while he walks out the door. For good measure. Because it's what he would have wanted. And you already got what you want. It's only fair that you give him what he wants, right? But you were right. It's all over the news. The 24-hour marriage of Evelyn Hugo. It's all anyone will ever talk about. Shopping dates between two best friends? That's lame. That's second-page news compared to the 24-hour failed marriage of Evelyn Hugo. For 2 months, Evelyn and Celia's lives were bliss. They never talked about Mick. They could be more comfortable out in public with each other because now it seemed like two best friends helping each other through another heartbreak. It all worked out perfectly until Evelyn found out she was pregnant.
What? From that one night?
Celia threw her iced tea glass to the other side of the pool, shattering it, and then threw herself into the pool to scream underwater. Actresses can be very dramatic. You slept.
Oh my fucking god. God damn it. God damn it. One bad night stand. Fuck.
With him?
What?
I thought it was implied.
Right? A truly 21st century couple story. It's just, I have a feeling it's gonna go real bad in the golden Hollywood era.
Well, it wasn't implied. Celia ran off in anger, leaving Evelyn to chase her around the house, leaving pool water just from room to room, puddles of it. Celia, let's just talk about it, please. This is not a life, Evelyn. Yes, it is. This is our life, and we've sacrificed so much for it, and you can't just give up now. Yes, I can. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to pretend to live by myself in Hollywood when I truly live here with you in this house, and I certainly don't want to love a woman who would some singer just so the world doesn't suspect that she loves me. Celia, you're twisting the truth. I did this for you. You're a coward, and I can't believe I ever thought differently, Evelyn. You didn't do a goddamn thing for me. You did this for you. You did it because you can't stand the idea of not being the most famous woman on the planet. You did it to protect yourself and your precious fans. That's who you did it for, not me. Celia, you really think your conservative family from Georgia is gonna stick by you if they knew? Really? If they knew what you are? What we are, Evelyn. Don't go around trying to pretend that you're different from me. I am different, Celia. And you know that I am. I can love a man. I can go marry any man I want and have children and be happy, and we both know that wouldn't come easily for you. So you think you're better than me? Is that what's going on? You think I'm sick and you think you're just playing some sort of game? That's not what Evelyn meant at all, but it was kind of too late. The words were already out and she couldn't take them back. There's no Costco return policy for words. She's just started digging her grave a little bit deeper. If they find out about us, they'll forgive me the minute I marry another man, and they'll forget I even knew you. I can survive this, Celia, but I'm not sure that you can, because you'd either have to fall in love with a man or marry one that you don't love, and I don't think that you're capable of doing either. I'm worried for you, Celia, more than I'm worried for me, so that's why I did what I thought would work. Well, it didn't work, Evelyn. You're pregnant. Celia snapped at her. And you know what? You're Evelyn. You...
Touche. I mean, to be honest, I kind of understand Celia as well, because, like, somebody has to pave the way. And yeah, sure, like, their fame can suffer a little bit. But what a good compromise would be to, like, keep it under wraps for 2 more years, do a shit ton of movie, do a scandal or two, manage to get as much money as you physically can, save it all up, and then live out the rest of your lives in, like, a relative peace and quiet somewhere far, far away with your new baby, and then pave the way for LGBT activism.
You let men do you for fame, and that's why I'm leaving you.
That's what I would do.
Yikes.
Evelyn froze while she watched Celia get into her car. Celia was sobbing and she screamed out the window. I loved you so much, I thought you were the meaning of my life. But I don't want to be meant for someone like you. And that was the fight that would end them. Evelyn wasn't... She didn't realize until it was too late, but Celia was already reversing out of the driveway and Evelyn did nothing to stop her. Instead, she walked back inside and called Harry. They drove down to Mexico, paid someone an obscene amount of money, and drove back together. Evelyn broke the silence on the way home. Do you think I'm a Harry? And I love Taylor Jenkins Reid for this, but Harry says, I think you're brilliant. I think you're tough. I think the word is something ignorant people throw around when they have nothing else. It's convenient. When men make the rules, the only thing that they look down on most is the thing that would bear the greatest threat. Imagine if every single woman on the planet wanted something in exchange for when she gave up her body. You'd all be ruling the place.
Oh my god, David, hell yeah. If I could snap loudly, I would snap loudly, but I'm snapping right now. Truth for David. Wait, is he David? I'm so bad with names, and I have COVID brain, I think. I'm pretty sure I have COVID. I have something of that nature. My brain no brainy today.
So, am I a or not? Who knows? We're all in some way or another. I like you this way, though, Evelyn. You're impure, scrappy, formidable. I like the Evelyn Hugo who sees the world for what it is and goes after what she wants and wrestles it from the world. They drove home in silence, and that night they shared a bed. They didn't do anything. Harry is like her best friend, but Harry...
Oh, Harry, not David. Sorry. I don't know where I come up with all these names.
Harry was the one that stayed with her, nursed her wounds, more like a brother, family. He was the only one that felt like family, because Evelyn and Celia would not talk for another 5 years.
Whoa.
And by then, everything would have changed. Monique was confused. She's sitting there writing this down, and she goes, wait, what do you mean you didn't talk to Celia for 5 years? How long were you guys together at this point? About 3 years? And she left without another word. Did you try calling her? I thought that if she didn't want me, if she didn't understand why I did what I didn't need her. And you were okay with that? No, I was miserable. I mean, sure, I had fun in the 5 years, don't get me wrong, but I ached all along. She was gone now. The love of my life was gone, and I can't just call her and say I'm sorry and have her come back. She was gone forever. So yes, that is something that I regret every second that I didn't spend with her. You don't think I regret it? Now it's too late, because she's dead. And that's how we head into marriage number 4 with clever Rex North. His name is Rex North. And for once, Evelyn was open with her husband. For once, both of them knew exactly what the other party wanted, and they were happy with it. They wanted their new movie to break records. Rex wanted to have sex with every walking, talking, breathing woman, and Evelyn just wanted to be the biggest star in Hollywood and a few $1 million richer. These are very humble goals.
Hell yeah, go Evelyn. Hell yeah. You know what? I want the same thing. Let me have a talk with Lev. And if there's any rich eligible bachelors with whom I don't have to have sex out there, but whom want to help my way onto internet fame, report yourself. I swear, I'm normally healthy. I have good teeth. I'm a strong oxen woman from Poland.
I would say 2 very ambitious people. I would say that it's also the most honest deal that Evelyn has ever made with anybody. The most honest marriage that she might have had up until this point. And it would be the reason Celia would come back to her. When Evelyn presented the offer to Rex North, the first question out of his mouth almost made her chuckle. He's sitting there and he's thinking, wait, so you're never going to have sex with me? Evelyn wasn't too sure. I mean, she's saying, you're handsome. I could see myself maybe falling for your overused lines once or twice, maybe if I'm drunk. But no, that's not what this deal is about. There's way too much money on the line. Neither of us are going to sleep in the same bed, sleep with each other, or fall in love, or get romantically involved. This is an easy deal. It's strictly PR. It's strictly business. That's it. This feels like another plot of like a romance movie where they start falling in love. Okay. But the other one, the falling in love one is easy, but the other one of not sleeping together.
Honestly, I think that we need more movies like this, like strong, independent women taking the reins of their business career by creating marriage deals that are financially convenient and emotionally stable and are based on logic and not emotion.
Who can say when there's 2 hot people in the room, right? Rex thought the idea of it was just so amusing that he could sleep with anyone in the world except his own wife. Evelyn warned him, though, you just can't get caught cheating, or else it would be a big story, and it would make her look bad, like a woman who can't even seduce her husband enough that he has to go look for it somewhere else. It'd be a big story. So he reassured her that he would never do anything to make her look foolish. And there it was, blasted all over the headlines. Evelyn Hugo marries Rex North. Her 5th marriage. 5th time's the charm. And they made headlines once more when their movie broke box office records. So around the same time, Celia St. James also made headlines for getting married to a quarterback, an American football player named John Braverman. He plays for the New York Giants, and this would be Celia's first marriage. And the 2 of them literally look like the America's sweetheart couple.
Oh, he's a football player?
Yeah.
Okay.
And for a while, life felt as normal as possible. The pain subsided and Evelyn focused on work. The night of the Academy Awards, Rex and Evelyn sat there with big smiles plastered on their faces when they lost, to show support for the winners. Evelyn was disappointed, but she wasn't surprised. It seemed too good to be true anyway. Evelyn was trying to prove herself to the Academy, and they freaking knew it. She could never win. They wanted her to stay in her lane and show her boobs, because that's what she was good for, right? The morning after the Academy Awards, Evelyn was rudely awoken by her phone ringing. She's hungover. She's searching for her phone. She's dehydrated. Hello? Harry, it's really early right now. Paramount wants to sign you and Rex in a 3-picture deal. What? They want 3 movies produced by us starring you and Rex. Sam said name a price. A price? What do you mean name a price? You want $1 million a picture? I heard that's what Dawn's asking for these days.
Oh,
We
wow.
could get that for you. Evelyn was thinking. Sure, she loved money.
Imagine $1 million for a movie. And that's like the good 1960s dollars.
But it wasn't her main motivation. What she really wanted to do was get $1 million a picture, mail Dawn Adler a copy of it with a photo of her middle finger attached. And Harry says, whatever movies you want, they don't even want to control it. We choose. It's a blind deal. Whatever films you and Rex star in, the next 3 Paramount wants to buy. All because of our last movie? We've proven that your name brings people to the theater. And I think Sam Poole, the executive at Paramount, wants to screw over Ari Sullivan. I think he wants to show Ari that he threw away something and he can make gold out of that thing. So get up, get your agents on the line, and let's ask for the moon. Evelyn, you know what's about to happen, right? What? You're about to become the highest paid actress in Hollywood. And for the next 2.5 years, Evelyn and Rex would stay married.
Hi Yorkie, how are you? No, you haven't missed anything too crazy. Like, it's a very chill stream today. I'm still sick, so I'm trying not to talk too much. And I'm not on camera, but we are listening to the fascinating story of the 7 husbands of Evelyn Hugo, as told by Stephanie Sue of Rotten Mango. She does these like I think, I don't know if it's like baking a murderer or baking a mystery or something like that, or is it a Rotten Mango, but she reads books and then she like makes video essays about these books, narrating them. So yeah, but anyways, welcome. So we're listening about Evelyn Hugo, who was a 60s movie star, like golden age of Hollywood. The story is inspired by the likes of Elizabeth Taylor. It's a fictional story, but some of the stories inside of the book are inspired by real life events of other celebrities. Oh yeah, no, I was actually talking about the new region pack early on today. Wait, let me just align the lamp lights, and I'll tell you what I have planned for it, because I think it's honestly gorgeous. Like, I love this little surprise that we have been given. I love it. I really, really love it. I wasn't expecting it, so at least they're doing something. They're giving us little tidbits here and there. Let me just lock them in place. All right, here it is, done. So, all right, here's the city. I honestly, I wasn't sure what I was gonna do with this space over here. I sort of wanted some sort of like Brooklyn-esque type of vibe over here, like brick row homes, brick apartments, that kind of thing. But honestly, I think this could be great. This could, oh, thank you. Well, you know, you can watch my stream and play at the same time, you know, like you can do both. But here, I think we could do little Amsterdam. Anyways, I want to have a canal network here in the industrial area, and I want to have a little river over here, and I think that this could be a great area to have our like canal network set up. Oh, sorry to hear that. Like, to be honest, I couldn't play without listening to something. Like, the only reason why I'm able to do this live stream, like playing Cities Skylines live, is because I do what I normally do, which is listening to Stephanie Sue. That kind of rhymed. I do what I normally do. I listen to Stephanie Sue. Because here we gotta have our French part. I want to have like a nice, massive French palace over here. But I was thinking that this area is kind of big to have all French themed. So I think that maybe here we can have we can have like a series of canals and stuff. because like this main island here is going to be like a lot of skyscrapers and stuff, kind of like Manhattan-esque type of thing. So a lot of modern stuff is gonna happen here, but I wanted to have a sort of like a Brooklyn vibe over there. But I can just turn it into Little Amsterdam. We have the assets now, so I'm totally like I'm totally on board with that. And also all the new buildings and stuff for like schools and the police and like the fire station and stuff like this are so gorgeous. But I think that they could really work for like a German team build as well. And we're gonna have a lot of like Central European German stuff over here. So I think I'm gonna use a lot of those assets here as well. And the train station is gorgeous. Like, to be honest, like I wasn't sure which train station to put over here for like the main Concordia historic train station. And I know we have like the train station, like it is actually called the historic train station, but I actually think that the new one is really gorgeous. So yeah. I'm so sorry for coughing. Like, I was overall good today, and then like an hour before the stream, I got fever again. Um, which one? Chinese, local, French. This is the new one that we got, and it's absolutely freaking gorgeous. I mean, look at it. The only thing that I would change about it would be the surface network. But this one is gorgeous too. And like this one, I think maybe fits better here because we're gonna have an Eastern European part of town here. Um, and then maybe we can have the Netherlands over there. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. What is the lore of your city? I kind of love it. I love giving a story to the city. Like this city, I feel like it's the city where all the nations of the world came together to create a city that reflects all nations coming together. Like if the United Nations or NATO came together and decided to build a city, this would be it. I think like this would totally be it. And like, to be honest, I'm going to expand past European influences, and I kind of have a little bit of an idea for how I'm gonna put it in the video format, because over there I'm gonna have like a Japanese town, and I have a really cool idea for how I'm gonna put it into video. All I'm gonna say is that Japan has some great advertisements, and I'm gonna be inspired by that. All right, so let's get back into it.
Living in the same house in different rooms, shooting movies for Paramount. They had an entire staff of people running around, making their lives easier, making sure these movies got made. They had just finished their last movie. It was set to premiere in a couple of months, and everything was perfect. They had done the 3-picture deal until Rex tried to f it up. Evelyn, I'm in love. What?
Oh my
In
God.
love? Look, I know it sounds crazy. Trust me, I know, but I'm in love. With whom? Joy Nathan. We've been seeing each other on and off for years, and I started feeling and wondering what it would be like to have a woman in my bed when I woke up in the mornings. And when I thought about who I wanted that person to be, it's always Joy. It's always Joy. And now I can't stop thinking about her, and I want to be around her all the time. Oh, great. Well, that's wonderful, Rex. Oh, thank God. I hoped you would agree. So, what should we do? Joy and I would like to get married. Oh, boy. Okay, their last movie is set to premiere in a few months. Evelyn starts working her brain. Okay. Easy. The stress of our schedule.
Ooh, what is the city's collective page? Which, by the way, Yorkie, do you wanna join our hub on Discord? I'm trying to build a community as well, like around City Skylines. It's not just City Skylines, but it's City Skylines too. So in this way we can exchange more info outside of the streams. Let me drop you an invite. Um, yeah, let me. Oh. Oh. Which one is showing? Okay, this one stays here. And this one, I'm gonna drop it over to you. Welcome. Let me know if that works for you. What is Cities Collective? Is it some diamond that I don't know about? Which, by the way, York, do you know what happened? I got muted from the City Skylines 2 Reddit page because I'm a rebel and I got muted for self-promotion like a week ago, but it was just for 7 days. But I was laughing at myself so much because I was like, of course I was gonna get muted from the only freaking community that I actually enjoy on Reddit. But it was because I was self-promoting like my live stream. But it was just for 7 days. And now like I'm back on. I think I'm gonna post something tomorrow in there. But before I was gonna post, I was just like, oh god, like I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I don't want to step on any toes, you know. So I actually messaged the moderators, and honestly, that they're so freaking lovely. Like, this is the one thing I really love about City Skylines. The community around it is so nice. Like, everyone in the community of Cities Skylines is so helpful, so lovely, so kind. I always wanted to be a part of it, and I just didn't know where to find these people. Oh, thank you, Ima. And I reached out to them and I was just like, look, like, I'm so sorry I didn't read the rules before posting this. I'm so sorry. I hope there's no hard feelings. And can you just let me know like what's allowed, so in the future I can just be like, look, how do I share my city without it seeming like I'm promoting myself? Like, fair enough, I'm not gonna post this video like live stream now, come join, like that's fine. But like, can I share my YouTube page, you know, like when I'm sharing my work in progress of my city? And so I'm waiting on a response, but they were so nice. They were like, "Oh yeah, I saw your post, and I love your passion, and blah blah blah." And yeah, it was like, of course I was gonna get banned from the only community that I actually cared about on fucking Reddit. Oh, you know what? I think I have to. Oh, is my voice back? Am I back? Am I back? Hello? Kind of. Okay. Um, I love that. I have to look it up because honestly, I love nerding out about City Skylines, and the more places I have to share it, the better for me, because, you know, like, I spent 40 hours a week plus building this freaking town, so I may as well get some results from it. Okay, the brief version of the lore. Brigantia is an island discovered by Yorkshire explorers in the 16th century. Fertile land, abundant resources, and a strong strategic location quickly led to the establishment of a settlement. This first started as a farming village called Saxton, but quickly developed into a fortified town on a hill overlooking the sea with a castle to defend its location. The British Navy also built a base here because, oh my god, I would love to see it. Please drop it into the Discord server when it's back online. I would love to see it. It sounds magical. I feel, I love writing stories. I feel like I have to write a more developed story for Concordia. The initial series I was doing, I had a whole, hey, I did a story. I sat down the other day in my fever haze, and I started naming churches in my town, which, Ima, brace yourself. I think this church is named after you. No. Okay. It was going to be named after you anyways. I think this one? Ah, no, it didn't save. Maybe my game crashed. But this was supposed to be Frognut's Cathedral, like Saint Frognut. Let's name it. Let's do it. Saint Frognut, because he's the mod creator. Saint Frognut Cathedral. So he deserves to have the big one because he's put so much work into it. Saint Fragnot's Cathedral. There it is. But Ima, you get this small chapel. This is the Chapel of Sancta Ima. Chapel of Sancta. And I like the way of, like, I read it somewhere in a book. There was what was it? It was like Zarkor. It was turned into a movie. Six of Crows. Yeah, Six of Crows, and before there was Grishaverse. There was the Grishaverse. I don't remember the name of the book, but they had this whole religion system where there was the saints, and the female saints were the Sancta something, like Sancta Luna, Sancta Ima, like this. And I like this way instead of like Saint Jude or Saint Ima. I like Sancta. It's a good name. It's a good way to call it. It's like a femininative. Chapel of Sancta Ima. There you go, Ima. You have your own cult now. I'm gonna name the Notre Dame Cathedral after myself because I have a huge ego. All right, let's see what happens to Evelyn Hugo.
And being on
Feminine.
set. The last movie, we had separate love interests, so watching each other have separate on-screen romances kind of ruined it for us, ruined our relationship. We were getting jealous. Okay, yeah, everyone will feel bad for us, but not too bad. We'll plan a story that I introduce you to Joy because I want you to be happy, and then you guys can get married. Evelyn, that's great. That's a great idea. I love it. Except Joy is pregnant. We're having a baby. Okay, no. Now what? So, okay, well, now we have to say that we've been separated for a while, not just on paper, but we have been living separate lives. But the problem is, if Joy has a baby and Rex runs off to marry her, Evelyn would be a laughing stock, a woman that's not capable of keeping her husband interested. It would be an embarrassment. So what do we do? We have, Harry walks in the living room at that exact moment. Good morning, you guys. Okay, during the course of the movie about both of us having affairs, we both started having affairs. You with Joy and me with Harry. Excuse me, what? Hey, Harry. Okay, people know that we've been working together. They've been seeing us together. You've been in the background of hundreds of my photos, and they'll believe it. We'll divorce him.
Ooh, Bahnhof Station? Is it from Fragnot? I saw his recent video of the making of the medieval pack and how he uses like the asset edit option in the menu.
Immediately, and anyone who wants to blame you for cheating on me, well, they can't, because all of this will be a victimless crime. We've both been having affairs. I guess that's not a terrible idea. Yeah, except the part where we both look bad. That's true. And Harry smiles. At least it'll sell tickets. The only way to sell the story was to make sure that both the affairs seemed undeniable. Clearly, Rex's affair was undeniable because he got his mistress knocked up. But what about Evelyn? They needed something explosive. They had to break the news with Evelyn first, before Joy's pregnancy. Otherwise, everything would look like damage control. Harry and Evelyn had to be caught in the act. They would stay...
Oh, wait, okay. We're going on a side quest. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna play it. Let's react to it. City planner.
The only way to sell the story
Not this
was
one.
to make sure that
Oh
both
my
the
fucking
affairs...
God, stop talking. Okay. So, city planner place. Where did he share it? Bahnhof Station. Alliance. If I don't see it and it's right in front of me, I'm sorry. Alliance. Let me. Oh! No way! Oh wow! Are they? Is this a train station pack that's coming out soon? I love it. This would be perfect for the historic train station that we're gonna build later on. Or is it a mod? It's gorgeous. Wow. You see, this is why I really wanted to start streaming the Concordia thing, because every now and again somebody who knows shit comes in and they tell me the shit, and then I'm in the clue of what's going on. I love it. Oh my god. I have a feeling like I have seen it, but is it a mod or is it a is it an expansion? Is it like an official thing or is it a mod creator? I wish I spoke. Where is Raven when one needs him? Cause city planner place. Okay. He could translate this stuff for us. But it looks incredible. It wasn't released that long ago. Okay, let's subscribe. Oh yeah. Well, I subscribed now, so hopefully I can get the news. Let's wait and find out. They said Bahnhof des Jahres in Cities Skylines. Is it like stations of the year? In Cities... Ein Projekt von Allianz Pro... I don't know what this is. But it's... Okay. Because Allianz is an insurance company. Like, is this like some actual collaboration with like Colossal Order, or is it just like a modder who named himself after an insurance company? Oh yeah, no, I love City Skylines, and honestly, I'm looking for more people as obsessed as me with it. So I'm glad that you came in. I'm glad that we're friends now. But it looks incredible. I can't wait to see more.
stage paparazzi pictures of themselves near their cars, leaving Harry's home, sharing a passionate goodbye kiss. How salacious. Evelyn cheating on her actor husband with the producer of many of her films. It was perfect. While they waited for the paparazzi to drive up, Harry whispered to her.
We have information. Stations of the year, 3D artists and railway. Oh, from Revo. Oh. Okay, Revo is a modder. He actually worked on the he worked with Colossal Order on releasing the region pack for the Netherlands. So I would suspect that this maybe will be like a kind of something along the lines of a region pack, but probably with official support from Colossal Order. Which honestly, I can't fucking wait. I can't wait. Oh yeah, I don't know their pronouns either. Sorry. I'm pretty sure that I heard City Planner Place refer to them as per he, him, but that because I've seen the video of the Netherlands region pack. No, but pronouns are important. I generally do this. Like if I don't know somebody's pronouns, generally like that. Normally, like in a professional environment, like if I don't know someone's pronouns at work, like on a phone conversation or something like that, I would generally stick to they them when talking about them before I'm able to figure out from the context or before someone does a pronoun round. But I'm pretty sure that I heard City Planner Place refer to him as he, him today on the presentation of the Netherlands pack, because he was doing he was talking about Revo specifically, like that it's one of the creators. So I think I'm pretty sure it's he, him, but don't quote me on it. I'm sorry for the constant, incessant coughing.
There's something I should tell you. I'm seeing John Braverman. Celia's John Braverman? Yes.
The circle is so small.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
How long? So their marriage is, it's fake. She doesn't love him. They sleep in separate beds. Have you seen Celia? Yes. Did she ask about me? She doesn't love him, though? She didn't ask about you, but no, she doesn't love him. And Evelyn asked if Harry had done this before, and he looks at her like she's an idiot. Of course I have. He tells her that he's been with a woman before. Well, did you like it? That one is a bit harder to answer. Well, then pretend I'm a man. Pretend you have to kiss me. And he's like, okay, I can kiss you unprompted, Evelyn.
Peg him, peg him, peg him, peg him. And this is the point of the book where it just becomes a gender norm abolishing story about the vicarious sex life of Evelyn Hugo.
And I don't need you to direct me. And in that moment of vulnerability, Harry asks Evelyn something crazy. Do you want to get married? I mean, we're all pretending to marry everyone else for PR for whatever reason. We could really do it, though, you know? It's not so crazy after all. I love you, Evelyn. Maybe not in the way a husband is supposed to love his wife, but enough, I think. Harry, that's insane.
If I was gay in the 60s, I would have totally done that. Totally fucking would have done that.
If this works, if people buy it, maybe we could raise a family together. Don't you want a family? I mean, I think so.
Like, wouldn't you want to marry your best friend anyways? Like, right? Like, if there's no one else, or like the society tells you can't be with the one you want to be with, wouldn't you do that deal with your best friend? Like, who else other than them? Even if you can't be with them sexually.
So? eventually. We could be great for each other, Evelyn. And we won't just give up on each other because we know each other better than that by now. I can't tell if you're being serious. I'm dead serious. Just think about it. You want to marry me. I want to be with someone I love. I want a companion.
Yeah.
I don't want to live alone anymore. I want a child. I want a family.
Hell yeah.
And we could have that together. I can't give you everything. I know that. But I want to raise a family with you. But our proclivities, how would that work? Same as you and Rex. I do what I do, discreetly of course, and you do what you do, discreetly of course. Before Evelyn could think, Harry was pressed up against her, passionately kissing her, and for a split second he slips her hand under her gown, pretending like he doesn't see the guy snapping pictures furiously from the bushes. The image was all over the news the next day. Scandalous, shocking. The four of them were the talk of the whole nation. Lustful little sinners. And of course they were rewarded. Their movie set a record for the longest to stay in theaters. It was one of the most successful marriages that Evelyn had to date. So husband number 5, brilliant, kind-hearted, tortured, Harry Cameron. After 5 years, Evelyn finally bumped into Celia at the Academy Awards, of all places. Both of them were nominated. Both of them showed up with their husbands that were dating each other. Harry
They might as well just
and
go
John-
back to each other too.
Yes, but they weren't romantically involved with their husbands, you know? So this time there was something different about Celia. The way that she carried herself, she was a bit more mature. It's like she had found herself. She looked fantastic. And the two of them, her and her all-American quarterback husband, were a sight for sore eyes. Gorgeous. Harry leaned over and whispered lovingly in Evelyn's ears, "Ev, you're staring." Oh, sorry. Evelyn sat in her chair, nervous to see if she had won. Nervous Celia was in the same room as her. Nervous that they would never talk again after this. Evelyn didn't win. Neither did Celia. It's fine, she was used to it. She excused herself to the bathroom to cry. Look, it was less about the Oscar. She cared, yeah, she did. But more than that, Evelyn had told herself, if I win, I'm going to go talk to Celia. If I just win, it's a sign to go talk to Celia. But she didn't win. And she cried. And a voice broke the silence.
So cute.
Evelyn? Celia? I saw you come in here and I thought maybe you weren't... I thought maybe you were upset. I'm trying to be happy for Ruby, but it's not exactly my style. Yeah, well, me either. Evelyn opened the door, and there she was, blue dress, red hair, and they both stared at each other. You're as gorgeous as ever. Yeah, when you're not so bad yourself. And Celia said, well, we should probably get going before we get caught. I know you'd hate for them to think that we were up to it again. The two, in the most stubborn way possible, try to apologize. And you know when, like, two prideful people argue, it's almost like a comical scene watching them kind of apologize? But you also know that both of them are genuinely sorry, they just don't know how to apologize. That's what was happening. And Celia asked, have you been with anyone else, though? Any other men? Interestingly, Celia was always jealous of men, feeling like she couldn't compete, that they had something that she didn't have. Evelyn was always jealous of women because she was worried she couldn't compare to the other women that Celia liked. And Evelyn said, I had a good time, Celia, and I'm sure you did too. Celia tried to explain that her marriage to John was fake, and before either of them could decipher what was going on, they were smashed up against each other in the bathroom. They didn't care who walked in, they didn't care who saw, they didn't care that the biggest names in the industry were on the other side of a thin wall. None of that mattered. It had been 5 years since they spoke. They were making up for
They're
lost time.
back.
I mean, they could have lost everything in that moment, everything that they worked so hard for, but they were willing to risk it all. And just like that, they were back on. They were the straightest, most by couple ever. The two couple would go on double dates. Everyone would look at them. Oh my God, such heterosexual double dates. Boom, Harry is dating John the quarterback. Evelyn is dating Celia. The tabloids called them America's favorite double daters. The most scandalous rumor about these two were that they were swapping wives. The public would rather believe that they were swapping wives than believe that they were They even bought apartments in New York City, 1 block away from each other on the Upper East Side. And at night, when nobody was up, Harry would slip into Celia and John's place, and Celia would slip in.
Okay, we are done with this part of town, and it looks gorgeous. Doesn't it just look magnificent? Right? It's really the knack is in the details. Now we have this little part over here to fix up. So the wall here is fixed. We have all of this mess to figure out now. So let's get into it.
Into Evelyn and Harry's place. They were living completely double lives. But times were changing. The country were changing. There were protests, revolts against the police in the name of the right to be yourself, to love who you want to love. Celia wanted to join, and the others said absolutely not. Harry explained, we go down there. All we do is attract attention away from the cause and towards us. The story becomes about whether we're or not, and not about the rights of people. So what do we do then? We can't just sit here and do nothing. We can't let them fight our fight for us. We give them what they don't have. What is that? Evelyn spoke up. Money. That's how the four of them began privately donating to LGBTQIA+ funds. They would continue for the rest of their lives. Celia won her second Oscar. Evelyn was in Miami filming a movie, and even if she wasn't, there's no way she could have gone with Celia. Celia called her after the big win, completely hammered in her hotel room. Can you believe it? I have 2 now. I wish you were here. I wish I was there too, Celia, but it's better this way, you know that. Ah, yeah, so people won't know that you're a lesbian. Evelyn hated being called not because anything was wrong with being a lesbian, clearly, but Celia often denied half of her. I mean, she was bisexual. Celia, stop it. I'm sick of this conversation. You're being a brat. Exactly the same Evelyn I've been dealing with years. Nothing has changed. You're afraid of who you are, and you still don't have an Oscar. You are what you've always been, which is just...
That's a bit uncalled for. What the fuck?
It's a nice pair of...
Whoa!
Evelyn was in shock.
What is going on?
Silence. And then Celia started crying and apologizing. It's fine, Celia. It's late. I should get going. Congratulations again, sweetheart. And she hung up. And she realized that's the thing with Celia. That when she was hurt, she made sure that you were hurt too. It was 7 years like this, living down the block in someone else's house, going on double dates everywhere, when Harry approached Evelyn with the topic of having children. They were nearly 40 now. Evelyn was 36 now. They had been married 7 years. Harry wanted a baby. He wasn't demanding like Don Adler. He just wanted a family, and he was wondering if Evelyn felt the same way. She did. So they asked their partners, their real partners, and everyone says, you know what? Okay, it's fine. Even the fact that Evelyn and Harry are going to have multiple times until they get pregnant, it's fine, okay? And we can have whatever family we want to have, you know, Uncle John, Auntie Celia. It'll be great. And it was great. Celia was okay with it. She never wanted kids. She didn't like kids, but she didn't want to stop Evelyn or Harry from creating a family. It would be kind of cute, honestly. I think the biggest hurdle would be that Harry could give Evelyn something that Celia couldn't. And Evelyn reassured her, you have given me more than I have ever thought I could have in one life. And I love you so much, Celia, that sometimes I look at all the crazy fan mail you get, and I think, well, sure, that makes sense. I too want to collect her eyelashes. And just like that, baby Connor Cameron was born, their baby girl. And from the moment she was born, Evelyn's entire life changed. Evelyn kept thinking that she looked just like Celia, but she actually looked just like Harry, okay? She was perfect. And for a while, the family felt like a traditional married couple. Harry would make breakfast, take care of the baby while Evelyn took a bath. They slept in the same bed to make sure one person got up to take care of the baby when she cried at night. Harry comforted Evelyn when she cried about being a horrible mother because she accidentally scratched Connor's cheek during bath time. It was also around this time that Evelyn felt a stronger bond to Harry. She told him, if there are different types of soulmates, then you are one of mine. Harry read script after script.
Okay, so just about this one, in case you're interested, I was kind of worried on how I was gonna tackle the whole like bridge and road going under the bridge, and also this, that it doesn't really have a key, and the key is kind of just made out of makeshift concrete pieces. But I think that this solution, it kind of works. I think it's all right. So this is what we're gonna go for. What I'm worried about is that because I'll be applying this very same solution over here to this roundabout, that I think we're gonna have to experiment a little bit more with these roads leaving under here. I initially had them leaving under the bridge, but I think I'm gonna have to curve them and have them leave over here and do something similar like I have over here. And the reason being is that if I'm gonna have a quay wall that snaps to the road and a tunnel coming underneath it, the tunnel exit is not gonna look right. From what I've seen, it just looks kind of wonky. Like the top wall looks really low, so it will seem like the cars are hitting the concrete ceiling of the tunnel. So we're gonna get there after we finish this part over here. But we're gonna do this before we apply the wall over here, because whenever we are leveling the terrain, it kind of tends to mess up the props. So I wanna do this bit that requires me to level terrain and stuff, and change the keys and change the stuff on the bridge before I experiment anymore with the props here, because when I'm gonna put them for the last time, I do want it to be for the last time. So this has to be done beforehand. I kind of learned that if this wasn't gonna be done, then if I replace this, it will end up being funky anyways. So may as well do it now.
Looking for the next big hit for Evelyn. He knew that she was nervous that Hollywood would only want her for matronly roles now. That her value of her sex appeal was dying because she had given birth to a child. The one thing that the public demanded her to do with Dawn Adler and the rest of her freaking husbands was have a kid, start a family, be a woman, because that's what women are made for. And now that she had done it, they were adamant on punishing her for it. But it would be Celia that brought Evelyn her next big role. It's a sexy movie. Okay, just hear me out, Evelyn. It's directed by the French director that you know, Max. He made your career once, he could do it again. Think about it. You can audition to be the bombshell. I don't know, Celia. I'm a mother now, and the whole world knows it. Yeah, that's exactly why you have to do it. Because you're a woman. You're a sensual woman. You're beautiful. You're desirable. Don't let them take that away from you. Don't let them desexualize you. Don't let your career be on their terms. You want to play mom in every role you take from now on? You want to play the nun? You want to play the teacher? No, of course not. I want to play everything. So play everything. Evelyn agreed, but a small part of her knew that Celia wanted this so badly for her because she wanted to know that Evelyn didn't change. Celia wanted to be with a bombshell. Evelyn thought it was kind of funny. Celia had told her, yeah, go have a kid, but just don't act like a mom. So Evelyn read the script and decided to take the part. Even though there was a lot of nudity, she was going all out.
Drama.
Max wanted her for the part, except he was concerned. Are you sure, Evelyn? Yeah, I can do it, for sure, I'm ready. No, it's not what you're thinking. Evelyn, you could be 96 years old and the whole world would still line up to see your chest. I'm saying, are you sure about Dawn? Dawn? You're playing opposite Dawn Adler. You're his love interest. Evelyn wanted it, so she took it. Why? Because she wasn't scared of Dawn anymore. He wasn't a threat to her, and she was free and powerful, so why not? She could handle him. She even requested to meet Dawn for lunch before she signed on to the movie, just to get a feel. And that's how she ended up seeing her ex-husband for the first time in more than 15 years. Dawn looked older. He was still very handsome, but older, like he had been through some shit. And he just kept apologizing over lunch. I'm sober now, have been for 256 days. I was drunk when we were together. Yeah, and you were a cheater and a pig, too. I know that, and I'm deeply sorry. Yeah, well, what am I supposed to do with that? What does that mean for me, Dawn? I know it doesn't make up for what I did to you. Yeah, well, it really doesn't. I just hope it makes you feel a little better to know that I was wrong, and I know that I was wrong, and I know that you deserve better, and I'm working hard every day to be a better man. Okay, well, it's awfully late now. You being a better man does nothing for me. But I won't hurt anyone like I did to you then. Look, Dawn, if your movies hadn't tanked and Ari hadn't dropped you from Sunset like you had him drop me, you probably would still be living high on the hog, drunk as a skunk, beating people. Evelyn, I'm sorry to say that you're most likely right. But I loved you, Evelyn. I loved you madly from the moment I saw you, and I ruined it because I turned into a man that I wasn't proud of. And I'm sorry. I wish I could do it all over again, and I wish I could fix my mistakes so that you never have to go through what you went through. But I can't do that. And I'm sorry, and all I can say is I'm dedicated to never behaving like that ever again. Evelyn looked at Dawn Adler. She didn't forget.
Welcome back, Yorkie. I'm making the retaining wall for my roundabout, which is made out of transformed concrete cubes. We're gonna be here a while.
Give him. But there wasn't a single bone in her body that was scared of him. So what the hell? Let's do the movie. But she made it clear. We're not friends, Dawn. We're not. but I think we can be friendly. Evelyn, I would be honored by friendly. Evelyn felt on top of the world again, but she would ruin it all soon. The movie they were filming, Evelyn played Patricia, a woman in love with a drug addict, and Dawn played Mark, the drug addict, right? And there was just something so raw there. The two of them, they had been through so much in their personal lives, and the way that they channeled it into the movie, this movie felt different. Everyone on set knew something was there. There was an energy. And it's not because they loved each other. It's not because they wanted to be back together. But the relationship between the drug addict and his love interest was already so tense. There were so many complicated nuances. And that was the relationship between Evelyn and Dawn. It was a lot. Evelyn put her heart and soul into this project. She threw herself into her work. Celia was clearly annoyed that she was on babysitting duty more and more. And the fact that Evelyn was on set with her ex-husband all day, every day, with a director that wanted to do all sorts of nasty things with her. So yeah, Celia might have regretted even pushing Evelyn to do the movie, but she supported her.
It's a recipe for disaster is what it is.
Her through and through. That is till the love scene at the end. That was the last thing they would film. And Max, the boundary-pushing director, wanted more. He wanted more than a standard love scene. So at this point, everything in the movies, all these love scenes, had all been about the men, their pleasure, because that's what it's supposed to be, right? He wanted something revolutionary. He wanted it to be about Patricia and her desires. For so long, movies were catered to men, and all it depicted was women catering to men, trying to be pleasurable for men. This one should be about the woman and how a woman uses a man to get what she wants, which is just pleasure. It's not about the man's pleasure. She's putting her pleasure first. It would be a graphic portrayal of female desire. Evelyn loved the idea. She loved the idea of women putting their needs at the forefront and normalizing that conversation. She wanted to push the envelope. She wanted women to be pleased instead of being desperate to please. Okay, the raspberries, I gotta move quick because the chocolate is melted. The raspberries are gonna start melting, but anyway, so without even...
Are we still baking the mystery?
thinking about it, she told Max that...
You gotta take it off fast.
Okay. Oh my god, it's melting. Oh my god, this is not working. Let me tell you what my group chat looks like. My sister's a pharmacist. I'm a true crime podcaster. We have a finance guy, a car guy, a watch guy. We have the weirdest mix of professions in our family group chat. So if one of us texts us in there, hey, I have a suspicious cough and I'm feeling a headache, what should I do? My sister has her medical opinion. I immediately think that person is being poisoned. And if statistics teach us anything, it's probably someone very close to that. Finance guy over here is like, well, do you have life insurance? Okay, it's really bad. It's not a place to go if you need medical advice. But I feel like a lot of you guys are in the same boat. You're extremely unlikely to find quality medical advice in your group chat, but you can find quality advice from a doctor on ZocDoc. ZocDoc helps you find expert doctors and medical professionals that specialize in the care that you need. They
Honestly,
deliver the type of
I love
experience
her
that you
ads.
want.
The way she advertises her sponsors is crazy, but I love it.
I actually first used ZocDoc like the same week that we moved to New York City because I broke out into hives and I had no idea what was wrong with me. My group chat was pretty useless and I was new to town. I didn't have a doctor that I went to and I found a doctor that I probably wouldn't have ever found without ZocDoc. It's like this tiny little office hidden in this massive building in the middle of New York. And I tell you, I have never felt in better hands than with this doctor. It was wild. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient reviewed and they take your insurance, are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. Using their free app that millions of users rely on, you can find the right doctor that meets your needs, fits your schedules. There's thousands of patient reviewed doctors.
Oh yeah, I love Bailey Sarian. It's actually, Bailey is how I got into true crime to begin with. I freaking love her. She's incredible.
Specialist, and you can even book an appointment with a few taps on their app and start feeling better faster. Go to
And then from Bailey I went over to there's a British girl that does it too, Danielle Christie. She's really, really good. And then after that I discovered Stephanie Sue, and I love how diverse of content Stephanie does. But lately I've been watching a lot of Polish podcasts and stuff like that, but obviously like I'm doing my streams in English, so yeah, otherwise I would have I would have put on more recent stuff that I'm listening to. But this is fun too.
ZocDoc.com/baking and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many of them.
Yeah, no, literally, like everything I do in City Skylines, I'm just taking the attitude of like, the more annoying it is to do, the better the results are going to be.
Available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc/baking. ZocDoc.com/baking. So without even thinking about it, she told Max she was all in. Without even talking to Celia about it, which should have been fine because she could go home now and talk it over, right? And then later she can tell Max, you know what, never mind, I changed my mind. But Evelyn didn't do that. She just avoided the topic, avoided talking to Celia. She didn't want to shatter the peace. Maybe a part of her felt like Celia was going to say no. So she didn't tell Celia until it was too late, until after she shot the scene with Dawn. It was a passionate scene. Later, people would whisper that Dawn and Evelyn actually did it on set, which was completely false. That's just how good of an actor Evelyn was, but nobody wanted to admit to that. When Evelyn was done filming the intense scene, she retreated to her trailer, bawled her eyes out. She wasn't ashamed. She wasn't nervous about what the public would think. She realized what she had done to Celia, and that broke her. She rushed home, and I don't know why she didn't do this before, but I think that she was so scared of losing Celia again that she lost her. You know, it's like the harder you try to keep something, the faster it gets away from you. She brought flowers, went home, asked Harry to take the daughter for the night, and in the kitchen, Evelyn asked, I just wanted to let you know that Max and I discussed a scene, and the love scene in the movie is going to be a bit more graphic than what you and I were thinking. How graphic? Something to portray Patricia's desperate need to be pleasured. Her need? Yeah, we need to see that it's not just love, it has to be more than that. That makes sense. You have to answer the question of why would Patricia even stay with the guy? Exactly. So it would have to be an explicit scene, and I'll be mostly nude for the heart of the movie to sink in. We need to see the two main characters truly vulnerable together, connecting, truly. Well, I want you to do the movie as you want to do it. Okay, thank you. Evelyn was relieved. But Evelyn, it's just, I don't think I can. Just knowing that you were, when you slept with Mick, I was sick for years afterwards thinking about the two of you together.
Oh, no.
I know. And then you slept with Harry, God knows how many times. I know, honey, but I'm not sleeping with Dawn. But you have slept with Dawn. You have slept with him. So when people watch the two of you on screen, they'll be watching something the two of you have already done. But it's not real, Celia, you know that. I know. But you're prepared to make it look real. I know, I feel like I'm failing you, but I just can't do it. I can't, I know myself. And I know that this is too much for me, and I'll be so sick over it. I'll make myself, I'll keep thinking of you with him, and I'm sorry, Evelyn. I wish I could be stronger. I know you need this for your career, but I can't. I'm sorry. I'll do anything you want. I'll make sure I'll work the rest of my life to make it up to you. I will get you any other part that you want. I will do anything. But I just don't think I can live through it.
Like, she doesn't want her to film that part?
Yeah, just a regular love scene is fine, but this like raw, passionate.
But I thought she already filmed it.
Yeah,
And
she lied.
hasn't-
Yeah, she didn't tell Celia.
Oh.
Evelyn said her heart sank to the point where she wanted to vomit, and she looked down before finally mustering up the courage to say, I already did it. And it was the end. Evelyn sobbed. This time she begged. She got on her knees. She did everything. She clung on to Celia. She let all the pride and stubbornness go. But Celia left. She said, all I have ever wanted, Evelyn, was for you to be mine. But you've never been mine. I always had to settle for a piece of you, and the world got the other half. And I don't blame you. It doesn't make me stop loving you. But I can't do it. I just can't live with my heart half broken all the time. Within a week, Celia had packed her bags and moved back to LA. She didn't pick up her phone, and she served John Braverman divorce papers. Evelyn even flew to LA to beg for forgiveness, but Celia was done. They had spent so many good years together. They were now 37, 38, and they were...
It's not as good as I wanted it to be, but I think that it's the compromise we're gonna have to make with this one. Like, I wish I could do this over here, but they are just too wide and they're gonna be cutting over each another. And yeah, I think we just have to be okay with it not being perfect.
Were broken up. It was officially over. The only thing that grew was Evelyn's career. She booked 2 more massive roles after this one of which she would win an Oscar for, but it didn't matter because this movie was the end of everything. She lost Celia for this movie, and the public loved and hated her for this movie. They thought about her in this movie all night long, but they hated her for how much they loved her in the movie. They hated her for being so in the movie, but they couldn't stop thinking about her in the movie. I hate people. Evelyn could really never win, but she blames nobody but herself. She really should have talked to Celia about it before doing it. Evelyn clarified, Monique, when Celia said that she could never have all of me, it wasn't because I was bisexual. It wasn't that there was a side that Celia couldn't fulfill. It's because I was selfish and scared of losing my career. That's what she meant. Please, make that clear. Evelyn says her tragedy was that she never stopped using her body to get things she wanted. She started using her body when she had nothing. She used her body to get something. And even now when she had everything, she still used her body. But in the end, Evelyn played the cruelest move on Celia, which is loving someone just enough to make them feel good enough to stick through the bad. And that's why Celia left. Monique understood, and she looked up from her notepad and said, I don't know, Evelyn. You don't seem that bad. Evelyn looked at her. You of all people are going to change your mind about that very soon. What the fork does that mean, okay? So back to the story. John, Celia's ex-husband, quarterback, Harry's partner, dies at 50 years old of a heart attack. His heart stopped.
Right. This is a plot twist after plot twist on top of a plot twist inside of a plot twist.
And so did Harry's that day. Connor was 5 years old. Evelyn said it was so hard to explain to her why Daddy was so upset that Uncle John was gone. Why Daddy was now trying to find peace at the bottom of a bottle. Evelyn owed it to Harry to pick up the pieces. This was her best friend. She would do anything for him. So she starts cooking breakfast. She starts cleaning up around the house. She was making sure he hung out with Connor, trying to get him excited. She read script after script, trying to find the one to get him out of bed again. It wasn't until she got Max Gerard, a movie called All For Us, a movie about a single mother in New York City trying to support her children. She went to Harry and she begged him. He said no. And the only reason he said yes was because she looked him in the eye and said, I think this will finally get me my Oscar. And he got up and started producing the movie. He still loved Evelyn, no matter how bad he was hurting. This was his family. This was his true blue, the mother of his child. All For Us saved them. Basically, it was the only thing that helped Harry. I mean, he never really stopped drinking, but at least he didn't pick it up first thing in the morning. 4 months after the movie came out, Evelyn, Harry, and Max all separately won an Oscar for the movie. Evelyn made her way to the stage, and looking out at the crowd, she said her speech, and at the end, she thanked Harry, her daughter, Max. And there's one other person out there whom I think of every day. I know she's watching right now. I just hope that she knows how important she is to me. Thank you all. Thank you. And it was
wow.
And it was after the Oscars, immediately after, the adrenaline still pumping, Evelyn decided to end her marriage with Harry. He was healing and she was falling in love, or thought she was, or thought she could fall in love with Max Gerard. It had been years since Celia left,
well,
and of
it
course
is what
Evelyn
it
never
is.
forgot about her, never stopped loving her, but she thought maybe she could try something with Max. He confessed to her that night that he had never stopped loving her. From the first movie they did of her coming out of that lake, every movie he did
the
afterwards,
French
she
guy.
was his muse every single time. Nothing could replace Evelyn in his life. He begged her to marry him. So she did. Harry encouraged it, and he promised Evelyn nothing would ever change between us. Nothing. I promise you, it makes more sense that we divorce. Pretty soon people are going to know that we live separately. I mean, we'll still always be what we've always been, which is a family. And I think it'd be good for you to fall in love with someone else. Husband number 6, disappointing Max Gerard. I think disappointing a woman is a very hard thing to do, but Max took on the challenge with bravado. The first red flag was that he kept calling her Evelyn Hugo. And she was like, you can call me Evelyn, I'm your wife now. But no. At the airport, coming home from their honeymoon, he bought a magazine of their wedding, plastered all over it, and she was like, ugh, why would you buy that? And he couldn't stop reading it. He couldn't stop looking at himself in the pictures. He said, we look pretty good, no? We look like royalty. You look so beautiful in this picture, but of course you do. That's who you are. I think I may lose a few pounds. I want to be handsome for you. You are handsome for me. I've always thought you to be handsome. No, look at this photo. I look like I have 3 chins. I think I've gotten too American eating fried foods all the time. He kept saying he wanted to be handsome for Evelyn, but she knew what he meant. He wanted to be handsome for the pictures that he would be taking with her. Evelyn quickly realized that Max had no intention of even trying to love Evelyn. He was only capable of loving the idea of Evelyn. Evelyn didn't even know how to tell him that she loved the idea of Evelyn too. But she just wasn't that. That year, Evelyn sat at home watching the Oscars on TV with Harry and Connor. Max was at the Oscars, getting his day in the spotlight, just where he wanted to be. And there, Celia won her 3rd Oscar. And on stage, she was breathtaking. And at the end, she said, and to anyone tempted to kiss the TV tonight, please don't chip your tooth. And Evelyn started crying, and Harry encouraged her to reach out. And the 2 of them started writing letters to each other every single day, rekindling their love. So in the beginning, they would write letters to each other, and Evelyn always signed it Edward, just in case someone found the letters. But her first letter, she crossed out Edward and signed Love, Evelyn. Yeah, so they were nonstop writing to each other, and finally Evelyn pulled the trigger, and she was going to fly to LA to see Celia. Evelyn was ready to give up everything. She hid the secret notes in her closet and rushed out while Max was asleep. And then she's like, oh, I forgot something. So she rushes back into the apartment and saw Max standing there. Pieces of paper all over the ground. What are you doing? What am I doing, Evelyn? You're having an affair. How very French of you. I don't mind infidelity, my dear, if it's respectfully done. One does not leave evidence in the closet. I'm not cheating on you, Max. We just cut it out. Maybe you are not, I suppose. I can believe it, but what I cannot believe is that you are a insert homophobic slur. And she said, I'm not. But these letters beg to differ. You're playing me for a fool, Evelyn. You're going to LA to cheat on me? I was going to leave you, Max. I think you know that. I think you've known for some time now. I was going to leave you. If not for her, for me. For her. I love her. I always have. Max was incredulous. He shook his head and said, incredible. I've married a insert homophobic slur. And before Evelyn walked out.
Bro, you can't be homophobic. You're French. Everyone knows that all French people are bi. Ow! Ow!
He threatened her. Like many husbands before, Max operated under the belief that if he can't have her, nobody can. He threatened to out her. Evelyn didn't give a shit anymore because nobody could stop her. She pushed past Max and boarded her flight to meet Celia for dinner. They were emotional seeing each other again. Evelyn tried to tell her nonstop that she was willing to lose it all and she couldn't stop thinking about Celia and she was ready to burn it all into flames for just another moment with Celia. But now...
Okay, so it's not perfect, but it exists. It now is in the world, and just like if you had a child who became a criminal, you have to love it anyways. So we are going to squint and we're going to love it.
Now Celia didn't want it. She said, the ramifications are unpredictable. It's no longer just about our careers. What if they try to take Connor away? Because I'm in love with a woman? Yes, it's happened before. Besides, I have chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. I probably won't make it past 60. No. Evelyn was floored. She had terminal illness. They were finally, after years of not being together, they were trying to get back into each other's lives and she was dying. And then she proposed something wild. I'm gonna move to Spain. I'm retiring, moving to Spain with my brother Robert. He used to work on Wall Street, but he knows about my he knows about my sickness. He's been taking care of me, helping me get through it day by day. He's agreed to move to Spain, and I was wondering if you, Harry, and Connor want to join us. You could even marry my brother, and we could all be happy together. We could spend another 5-10 years, whoever knows how long before I die, if we're lucky. Celia wanted to give Evelyn the chance, and she was worried that, are you going to be okay after 7, 10, I don't know how many years? You're going to lose me again because I'm going to die. Evelyn said she doesn't know if she can handle it, but there's no way that she's ever letting Celia go. So they had all the plans. Finally, the student is now the master. Celia sat Evelyn down and said, here's what we're going to do. You're going to leave Max. I'm going to call a friend of mine, a young representative in Congress. He needs some press. You're going to be seen around him. We're going to spread a rumor that you were sleeping with a 29-year-old congressman, and they'll say, wow, half her age? That's crazy. Not half her age, but you get it. And when Max tries to out you, slander you, it's going to look like he's bitter. And then, why am I marrying Robert, your brother? So when I die, everything I own will be yours. My estate will be under your control, and you can keep my legacy. I've already told my brother, and he's agreed to it. Yeah, but you could just appoint that to me and have someone else try to take it away because you were my lover on the grounds that we were... No, this is better. This is smarter. We can't tell the truth, Evelyn. You were right. Have you seen what's been going on these days? I know things have changed, but they haven't changed much. You can't risk losing Connor. So let's do it. Evelyn agreed, but she said that she would have to talk to Harry about Spain. And it's a good plan. It almost worked, but Harry wasn't on board. He didn't want to leave his career, uproot Connor's life, and he had fallen in love too. It had taken him so long to feel love since John died, and he worked so hard. He didn't know it was even possible, but he fell in love. So the two, Harry and Evelyn, resolved to find a solution that worked for their family. They were going to talk about...
I have a very modern solution to this dilemma. Listening to this book has made me realize that there's one denominating common factor in this entire shitstorm of a situation. Fuck love. Don't fall in love. Love is going to hurt you. Love sucks. Falling in love is the most terrible thing that can happen to you. Don't love. Be smart. Go after the money. I have spoken.
About it later tonight when Evelyn and her driver picked up Harry to head to the airport. And it was on the drive to Harry's narrow private road. Nick, the driver, stopped the car. Evelyn stared out the window, registering what was going on. In front of them, a car was bent around a fallen tree. Harry's car.
What?
Evelyn rushed out and ran to the front and looked through the windshield. Harry was stumped over the steering wheel, and a young man was in the passenger seat. Evelyn pulled Harry out, knowing they probably shouldn't move him, but they needed to get him help, and Evelyn knew Harry would not want it to be like this. If people knew that he was in the car with this man, they would ask questions. They would come to their own conclusions, and that was worse than death in an industry like this. Evelyn sat there with Harry in her arms, and she saw blood, so much blood, and the strong smell of bourbon. He had been drunk driving. And she knew she needed to save him. This was her true blue. She asked Nick to help Harry into their car to drive him to the ER. They put the young man from the passenger seat into the driver's seat to make it look like he was the one drunk driving. They drove just Harry to the hospital, paid off the hospital staff to keep quiet, said that he was injured at home. And from there, she told Nick, who was freaking the fork out, the driver, listen to me. Take this cash. Go stay at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Wash up. All night tonight.
God.
Think long and hard. What do you want from me? I'm going to call you tomorrow. Don't tell anyone. Not a single person about this. Evelyn ran back to the hospital, adrenaline pumping, ready to take care of everything and be at Harry's side. But her whole world stopped when Harry died an hour later. Evelyn's life fell apart. And the next morning she got a call from Nick, the driver. I want you to make me famous. Evelyn was disgusted, and she warned him last night would be an even bigger secret for him too if he really wanted to be famous. He didn't care. He wanted it. And Evelyn made it happen because she had to. For Harry, for his legacy, for everything he had worked so hard for. Thank God she had Celia, because who knows how she would have made it out without her. Soon after, all of them, Celia, her brother, Evelyn, and their daughter, Connor, packed their bags and moved to Spain. Evelyn wiped her tears from her face, and Monique...
Fucking hell. This is a plot twist after a plot twist on top of a plot twist. What the fuck? She's covering up a murder now? What?
tried to comfort her. It must be hard to do what you're doing, telling your story with so much frankness, and I just want to know that I admire you for it, Evelyn. Don't say that, Monique. I know who I am, and by tomorrow you will know too. You keep saying that, Evelyn, but we're all flawed. Do you really believe your past redemption will be done soon enough and you won't be left wondering anything? Really, this is the one thing you can trust me on. Monique didn't get it. But we get to agreeable Robert Jameson, her last husband, Celia's brother. Connor came back to life in Spain. She missed her dad, she missed Harry, but she gravitated towards Celia and Robert. They took care of her, especially Celia's brother. He had always wanted a family, but he never wanted to settle down, so this was kind of perfect.
Like, it could be worse, but it's not that bad. Like, it's okay. I think this is okay.
For him to feel like a father, but not have the responsibility of having a wife that he's committed to. And he would paint her bedroom with her, taught her how to play poker, taught her about finances. He used to work on Wall Street, and he watched her grow up from a little girl to getting accepted into Stanford and then working at in one of those big hedge funds. With Connor back in the States for school, Robert lived his best life in Spain, sleeping around, having fun. Celia and Evelyn spent the rest of their lives like lovers. They went into town together holding hands. The locals minded their business. Nobody recognized them, and if they did, they gave them their space.
This is why I love Spain. But like in most places in Europe, like I feel like we don't have this massive cult of celebrity. At least like I have never really seen it. And Ireland is kind of famous for this as well. A lot of celebrities would be coming here to Ireland and people will be like, oh yeah, that's Adele over there. Hope she's having a good day. Like, we don't go after them being like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I love you, I love you, I love you. You know what I mean? Like we don't really care. They're just celebrities, and like Jenna Ortega had a bunch of photos in fucking Temple Bar when she was shooting for Wednesday. And what's his name? Your man. He sings. He's ginger. He sings really nice songs. People love him. He was in my town recently. Ed Sheeran. Yeah, he came down to the Sticks and he performed a bunch of songs in the pub. And like he didn't even say he was gonna be here, but there was like a music festival here, and he just showed up and started busking on the street.
It was technically Evelyn's 8th marriage to Celia. They had a little spiritual ceremony with rubber bands as rings. And 16 years later, Celia died in Evelyn's arms from respiratory failure. Evelyn and Robert sobbed on the floor. Evelyn had lost her soul, her love, her everything, and she was gone. It was the most painful thing she had ever experienced. All those years that she had spent not talking to Celia, she wished she could have just fixed it. Just one more year, one more day was all she wanted. Celia was buried in the same cemetery as Harry, and at her funeral, Evelyn excused herself, walked to Harry's grave, and threw herself on his grave and cried, because she always went to him when she didn't know what to do. She had no idea 2 paparazzi were hiding, snapping photos of her. The headline was, "Legend Evelyn Hugo weeps at Harry Cameron's grave years later." Even then, nobody could put 2 and 2 together. Nobody could see the truth of why she was sobbing, why she was there in the first place. Nobody wanted to see her in love with Celia St. James. And that was when Evelyn knew she had to tell the story to the world. And now, with them both gone, Evelyn became Evelyn Hugo, a boring old lady. She donated majority of Celia's money to LGBTQ+ causes and lung disease research. Celia focused on Connor and Robert. Robert was never her husband, but he was family. He was Celia's brother. She focused on them until Robert died at 81 years old. And Evelyn tried to be happy again. Well, not happy, but you just try to find the small moments, right? And then your daughter dies.
What?
And then your life feels truly over. Connor...
Shit, what? Her daughter died. What the fuck? Oh yeah, no, I know. I have a sinking trailer. I have a sinking fucking bunch of shit here on this key over here, because I was moving a lot of stuff around and they kind of go all out of whack, like. But yeah, I'm on it now. I'm gonna fix it, and then once the keys are fixed, we can start building out the stuff over here. I don't really know what I want to put here. Like, I already have like a kind of a green zone shaping up here, so I'm kind of thinking to have maybe like a little park, like a long-ish park along here. And then I want to have a couple of magazines here. I'm gonna nestle some of these crematoriums in here too and see how it looks like.
Connor died of breast cancer when she was 39 years old. Evelyn said, "When they put her in the ground next to her father, I broke like I have never broken before, and that feeling has never left." And that's how Evelyn Hugo's story ends. Evelyn tells Monique, "Make sure in the end you tell everyone that Evelyn Hugo doesn't care if everyone forgets that she was ever alive. If everyone forgets her name, that doesn't matter. Say to them, Evelyn Hugo just wants to go home. It's time for her to go to her daughter, her lover, her best friend, and her mother. Tell them Evelyn Hugo says goodbye."
I think she's about to commit suicide. Oh, sorry. Self-exit. I should not be doing live streams. I don't have a PC tongue for you for YouTube.
What do you mean goodbye, Evelyn? Evelyn ignores her. Make sure it's clear that all these things are clear. I did it to protect my family, and I would do everyone again. I would have done more ugly things. I would have behaved uglier if I thought it could have saved them. Evelyn, I think most people probably feel the same way about their loved ones. Evelyn walks over and places a piece of paper in front of Monique. The man in the car with Harry, the one that I left, yeah, this was by far the most egregious thing that she had ever done. Harry had fallen in love with a black man. His name was James Grant. He died February 26, 1989.
Dun dun dun!
That's the dad?
Final
Yeah.
plot twist.
The loss of Monique's father had always been hard, not just because she lost her dad when she was young, but because she had no
Harry had an affair with Monique's father, and he died. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking now.
one to blame but her loving father. He was drunk driving. It was totally out of character, but they say you never really know what's going on with someone. But now Monique knew. Her father had never driven drunk. He had been left for dead on the side of the road, framed for his own death, and his legacy forever tarnished, his memory forever tarnished because of fucking Evelyn Hugo. Monique stood up in rage. You think giving me your story makes up for this? All this time you've been making me sit here listening to your life so that you could confess, and you think that your biography makes up for it? No, I don't. I did this for you. And she pulled out a crumbled piece of paper and explained that Harry was drinking that day because he had received a letter from Monique's father where he told Harry he couldn't do it. He couldn't leave his wife and child. He loved them too much. He told Harry that he didn't love his wife the way that he loved Harry, but maybe he loved his wife the way Harry loved Evelyn. And Monique, his daughter, is the happiest with both mother and father, and he knew that's how she will live her best life. And no matter how much he loved Harry, no matter how much he wanted to be with him, he could not go to Spain. He could not break up his family. Monique finishes reading the letter, and it hits her. Her father was in love with the man.
This is the moment I would start puking. As in, like just the emotions of it all, like the roller coaster of it. Like, you know, like sometimes like something so intense happens and you just have a knot in your stomach, and like I feel like very little thing is about to throw my stomach off like that, but this is one of those situations for sure.
Monique had more questions than ever, and she asked Evelyn, why did you reach out to me? Why would you even tell me this? Just because I'm his daughter, so you want to make yourself feel better? I read your piece about dying with dignity. I read most of your work, actually. I thought it was beautifully written, informed, intelligent, balanced. It had heart, and I admired you. I suspected you would do a beautiful job with my story. So you put me through this to, what, make sure you don't feel guilty and that I would write your book beautifully? Monique, no one is just a victim or a victor. Everyone is somewhere between. People go around casting themselves as one or the other. They're kidding themselves, and they're painfully unoriginal. Everything in life is complex, especially your father. That's why I thought it was important for you to read the letter. I wanted you to know. Know what? That he was innocent, that he loved a man? What? That he loved you. Like that. He was willing to turn down love for you. Do you know what an amazing father you had? I wanted you to know that if I had a father like that.
To be honest, if my father, my parents divorced when I was 4 years old and my father went to prison, but I'm not a good example of this story. But if I had a different life and my father stayed with my mom, even though he was a homosexual, and that even though he was gay and in love with another man, I would not want my father to stay with my mom just for me. I feel like too many marriages end poorly just because people stay together just for the children or for the sake of society or the family. I think that both parents could be happier and provide a better environment for their child if they are living their true authentic life and are happy with themselves. So I would say that it would be probably better if he was happy and gay and out and divorced from my mom, if that was me in that situation.
That I would have wanted to know too. And it hits Monique. Evelyn had framed her father, ruined his reputation to save her best friend, and held on to this letter for nearly 3 decades because she wanted Monique to know that she was loved. Evelyn was so complicated. Like, is this evil? Is this not evil? What is this? Evelyn tells Monique that she can publish the book soon. She's dying of breast cancer. How far along is it?
Sorry, I'm losing my
Far
mind.
enough for me to hurry up and get this done. I saw my daughter go through this, and I see what's ahead of me, and I want to get my affairs in order. And with that, we see Evelyn send off her Grace, her assistant, on vacation with her family, and she mentions to Monique that she made sure Grace is taken care of, and the rest of her legacy will go to charity. And it hits Monique. Evelyn wants to die now. Evelyn was never going to let the thing that made her be the thing that destroys her. She was going to take power, and she was going to die when she wanted to. Before she left for the last time, she said, Evelyn, what are you... Evelyn looks at her innocently. Nothing. And the two lock eyes. And
Avocado!
Evelyn wishes her to have an exceptional future. And she says, I hope you wrangle the very best out of this world. And I believe you will. I really do believe that. Monique knew that Evelyn was saying goodbye, and yet she left. She walked out that door, and
Good luck on multitasking, Yorkie. I mean, you know, like, don't feel obliged to watch all the time. Listen in, and if you get any inspirations, you let me know. But yeah, this is a hangout spot, so you do you, boo. And don't worry about typing badly. I have ADHD, which makes me make so many typos. I type like a hyper 6-year-old, literally.
started panicking. Should she turn back?
Aw.
Should she beg
I'm glad to hear it. I can't wait to see your city.
Evelyn not to do it? Should she call 911, try and stop her? But it hits her. Evelyn trusted Monique with her life story, but also with her death. It would be a betrayal to stop her. Monique knows that Evelyn is in her right mind, and she has the right to die as she has lived, entirely on her own terms. But it's breaking her. And she goes home to her mom that's visiting, and her mom has no idea what to do. She asked her mom about her dad, and her mom says,
Honestly, if I was Evelyn, I would do the exact same fucking thing.
the marriage was different, you know? We weren't passionate, we weren't ripping each other's clothes off, but we were soulmates. We talked all night. We had so much fun, and I don't know if I would ever find that in someone else. And so Monique didn't know whether to tell her mom the truth or keep this out of the biography or leave it in or leave.
That is the contiest thing from Evelyn, because it's like you put her in a position now with her mom. Like, what is she supposed to do? And then, like, does she put it in the book? Does she not put it in the book? Like, what would you do? This, I don't know. Like, this is a big conti. Like, this is Evelyn just being a diva.
Leave the person unnamed or tell the world. She didn't know. But that night, she cried in her mom's arms while she watched Evelyn's movie, All for Us. And Monique fell asleep to the sound of Evelyn's voice, and she knew that one day, not today, but one day she would forgive her. Headlines broke one last time for Evelyn Hugo. March 26, 2017, legendary film siren has died. She will be buried next to her daughter and ex-husband Harry Cameron. And that is the end of the 7 husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Beautifully written. I
actually listened to the audiobook of this book like last year after actually I've seen the series for the first time, and it was so good. Highly recommended.
don't even know what to say. Yeah, when that plot twist hit, I mean, you have to read the book because I'm sure I did a horrible job at explaining it, but when you read it, it's like
an
every
amazing
sentence
job.
it builds, and you feel so much emotion. I love how complicated it is. Like, even the part where Monique is walking away from Evelyn's, knowing that Evelyn is about to take her own life, it's so raw. It's like she knows the right thing to do, but it's human nature to want to do the opposite. It's just so complicated. And then just the emotion she feels of like, do I protect my mom? What do I do? What are your thoughts? He's like absorbing all of this.
Wow.
I think it's the first time he's been like, wow.
It just like leaves such a
like I remember when I was listening to the audiobook, and when that twist happened, I was baking something. I don't remember what it was. I was in the kitchen and I was mixing something in a bowl. I was just bawling my eyes out. It's like partially like I knew what was coming because I listened to Stephanie Sue talk about it first, but still listening to it, it's just like it hits you. You're like, what the fuck?
Feeling like an
Yes.
empty feeling in your heart.
Like, I want to cry. I feel like I've been through 7 lives or something. And I just want to cry. And I feel like I want to mourn something. And I don't even have anything to mourn. What are your thoughts on this one? Please leave it in the comments. Make sure to check out the rest of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
All right. Any thoughts about the subject matter? Anyone wants to share, or just grieve alongside me the terrible, terrible life of Evelyn Hugo. Well, terrible. It wasn't terrible. It was like, it was a lot. It was a lot. Wasn't it intense, right? Right. That's why I love thriller books, and I feel like Stephanie Sue is great for kind of getting a taste of whether you're gonna enjoy a book or not, because she kind of like shortens them down to like an hour or 2 hour long video, telling you the whole plot of the book, so you kind of like know what's going on, and you can decide for yourself whether you're gonna like it or not. Which, like, obviously, if you mind spoilers, then it's not for you. But I don't mind spoilers, so yeah, I love it. I love devouring this kind of content. But there was one thing I kind of wanted to get into a little bit more. So there's presidential election coming up in Ireland, and I'm about to become an Irish citizen, and I want to find out a little bit more about Irish politics. I've learned a little bit of Irish history in school, and it's really, really fascinating. I kind of regret not having the opportunity to learn the language. Like, I had the opportunity, but I was still struggling with my English a lot when I came here. So yeah, I was learning the history though, and it's kind of fascinating. But the presidential election is coming, and I see some stuff happening on in the news, and I feel like as a good little future Irish citizen, maybe we could learn something about what's happening in the Irish politics. So, upcoming Irish election. Let's see if there's like a podcast or is Ireland. Jesus, because I know nothing about the subject matter. So, full speech. Starmer delivers speech to voters and attackers, but that's the UK, you know. Starmer, Farage, Labour Party conference, Keir Starmer. I'm afraid to click into some of these links because I have a feeling it's gonna be like conspiracy theorist central. But I also want to have a long form enough of a video to find out something more substantial. Nominations, who will be Ireland's next president? Virgin Media News. How does voting system work in Ireland? Okay, let's find out how does the voting system work in Ireland. And then maybe we can...
We're just over 2 weeks away from polling day, when we will each have a chance to cast our vote. But how does our voting system work, and how can you make the best use of your vote? Gavin Riley, political correspondent for Virgin Media News, is with me now to explain the ins and outs of proportional representation for new voters and also for older voters who haven't got a clue either. So, Gavin, good morning.
Good morning, Pat. And there are quite a few new voters as well. I saw yesterday that there's 115,000 applicants to become first-time voters now. So even though we used the same system for the locals and Europeans 5.5 months ago, there will be a lot of people doing this for the first time.
For the very first time. Now, how did we end up with this system? Because it's only ourselves.
Probably I'm not going to qualify for this one, but next time I'm going to vote. I can't wait to exercise my citizenship rights and go voting. I can't fucking wait. I'm so excited about it. Like I'm gonna get myself a harp, and I'm gonna get I want to have like a harp and a white eagle, and I want to have a leprechaun top hat, like one of those Paddy's Day green ones, and yeah, I'm going to be patriotic now.
And Malta who use it.
And there's one common thread in the history of those two countries, which is the Brits.
Yeah.
When we had the breakaway formation of the Irish Republic and the first Dáil meeting in 1919,
Hello. How does the voting system in Ireland work? We're not even in the first minute and we're already talking about the Brits. Which, Yorkie Pod, I know that you're from England, and I'm sorry if it's a lot for you. I'm genuinely just trying to find out like more about this wonderful green country that I'm about to become a citizen of.
TDs that met then in the Mansion House were elected through the system that is still used in the UK, the first past the post system. But what you realise there is that the country was still relatively finely divided as regards those who wanted rebellion and breakaway and independence versus those who still wanted a role. And yet there was an overwhelming number of Republican MPs that were elected in 1918 and met in the Mansion House and said, we want nothing to do with you anymore.
So it wasn't representative of public mood.
Not as finely split down as the public mood was. So when partition came in and when the treaty was adopted, what Britain bequeathed to us was the idea of multi-seat constituencies. So instead of what you have...
Oh shit, yeah, I heard about it. So apparently there is a lot of talk happening about the reunification of Ireland because Sinn Féin is gaining a lot of movement again. And Sinn Féin is like the party that sponsored the IRA, you know? And interestingly enough, they're gaining popularity again. And they haven't been in power in a pretty long time. I think last time that they were in power was during the quote-unquote troubles. And there's a lot of talk about the reunification of Ireland, which, Emma, for you might not know about this, but Ireland is split into Northern Ireland, which is part of the UK, and the Republic of Ireland, which is an independent state that gained its independence from the British monarchy. Initially, I think there was a treaty in 1921, if I remember correctly from my history classes. They used the post-World War I economic poverty time to bolster a treaty with the UK to get out of their control. But I don't think that they were fully out of the control because there was something done also in the 40s when Britain was fighting World War II, that Eamon de Valera, the prime minister at the time, had another deal with them that gave them like a full republic status. I think initially it was like independence but still part of the Commonwealth, and then it was like fully republic independent. But don't quote me on it because like I'm trying to remember information from history classes that I've taken like 12 years ago, so I might be conflating this. I'm gonna do like a stream on Irish history, so we're gonna visit all of these topics. But there's 4 counties in the north of Ireland that have been kept as part of the United Kingdom Commonwealth. And there was a lot of controversy now. There was a lot of talks on this side of the Republic that it was sort of orchestrated by the UK that sent a lot of settlers there to participate in the referendum that has taken place in those days. And there was a lot of obviously problems. There was the whole thing with the IRA. They were fighting. It was almost like a civil war type of situation with a lot of terrorism attacks. Not a full-on war, like it's a bit of an exaggeration, but there was a lot of attacks. And the IRA even like they assassinated the Queen's brother, I think, at one stage. So yeah, it's all about this conflict. But now that the far right movements are gaining momentum across Europe, in Ireland they're talking about reunifying the north of Ireland back into the Republic, because it seems like it's the general consensus of what's happening in the world right now.
Have in Westminster, where there's only one TD for Holborn, and that's Keir Starmer, and there's only one MP for everywhere else. What they decided was we would have multi-seat constituencies because it was the best way of making sure that the diversity of opinion as regards hard or soft nationalism, or even making sure that unionists themselves still had a seat. Because in 1918, only a handful of unionists got elected in the 26 counties. They basically represented Trinity College. But if you had multi-seat constituencies in this new free state, the 26 counties, there was a reasonable chance that the odd unionist or the odd person with sympathies to the British system might still get in as the last candidate of the five. So the idea was to try and be broadly more representative.
I mean, if you look at Britain and you've got maybe a 45-55 split between Labour and the Conservatives, or whichever two parties might be vying. I mean, the 45 might never get a look in ever. They might never be represented in Parliament.
Because if it was uniformly split across the entire country, where Labour, for example, had 55% support in every constituency and the Conservatives had 45, in every single constituency, Labour would win. And you would have a House of Commons that was packed full of Labour MPs and no representative.
Which, by the way, Ima, a funny story. There was I think there was a Polish countess that participated in the 1916 rising that the Irish rebels have orchestrated against the British Empire. That's still celebrated till today's day as the most successful. Like, ultimately it failed, I think, but it was one of those things that prompted this independence movement. And there was a countess involved, and she has a Polish last name, and she was involved with the rebels that fought for independence of Ireland. Yeah. I'm sure, like, as we do these streams and we dive into the history of Ireland, we're gonna come across her.
For the 45% of the people who supported the minority. At least in the Irish system, with multiple TDs per constituency, there's a good chance that the slate of TDs you have as a whole is broadly representative of how the public views.
Now, we're big into recycling on this programme, and this is the ultimate in recycling, your vote.
Yeah, effectively, the plain principle of the Irish electoral system is that your vote can be recycled as many times as is needed, so it has the highest possible opportunity of electing someone to Dáil Éireann. So if you vote for a candidate and that candidate gets eliminated fairly early on, your vote is not wasted. If you've given your second preference to somebody else, that person can get your vote and it can be passed onwards. So your vote under this system is designed to do as much work as it possibly can to make sure that eventually somebody is dragged over the line.
Now, if your vote...
Let me understand this. So the way that it works, like, you put priorities, like you have a list of candidates and you say, like, this is my number one candidate, this is my number two candidate, this is my number three candidate. And then they compare the priorities. And this way, like, you may come up with a ranking of who's most favored. But then this way, like, if you don't, like, if your choice number two gets more overall support, your vote can still bolster their support because of the priority system. That's kind of cool. I wonder how does the ballot look like?
The next preference on your vote, because you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down to the end of the voting
Or just
paper.
one if you want to.
If you want to, you can plump. But if your next preference is someone who's already eliminated, does your vote die at that point, or does it skip the elimination and go on?
No, it's skipped over. And this is why when you're listening to the discussions
really
from
cool.
returning officers and people sitting...
Honestly, Ima, listen closely. Bring this to the Razem party in Poland. Let's bring it to their attention, because I feel like I feel like we could do some good with this.
in this studio and others in 2 or 3 weeks' time, talking about the dynamics of the count, they'll talk about your next available preference. So if, for example, your number one candidate has gotten a stonking majority and your vote is one of their surplus and your number two is already gone, they'll go down to your number three. And if your number three was already gone, they'll go to your four. They will go to the next highest preference, the candidate that is still alive in the race, and give the vote to them to try and keep it working.
Now, one of the things about the benighted
It's a
voting
cool
machines
system. I like
that
it.
we had for a brief period was the fact that you could do things mathematically. You could look at all the second preferences of the whole count, and then you'd spread them proportionately onwards.
Yes.
This way, when you've got a surplus,
Yeah.
it's a fairly random thing. You get bundles and bundles and bundles of the surplus. But if you recount, if you put them all back in the box and shuffle them up, you'd get a different set of surplus votes.
Only a marginal set. There is a certain element of randomness to it. One of the things that is often forgotten when we're doing election coverage and you see somebody that gets elected on the first count and they've got more votes than they need, and you're trying to figure out which votes they then pass onwards.
Yeah.
Let's say the target that you need to get elected is 10,000 votes and you get 16,000. They don't just pick up any random 6,000 and decide to pass them on. They will go through all 16,000, look at the next available preference on each of them, and pass them on pro rata. So you'll pass on 6,000 ballots that look like the 16 as a whole. But the humans have a limit.
Yeah.
You can only go one
But the
one
computer
down.
could do this absolutely.
And we actually
scientific.
changed the electoral system for the three constituencies, the two in Dublin and one in Meath, that used the e-voting machines in 2002, so that they were able to do that. So actually, if you look at the formal breakdown in those counts, you'll see that people are credited with receiving fractions of votes, which we don't do otherwise. They do that in Northern Ireland, I believe. They try to pass on fractions of votes in as much as is possible to try and have it as broadly representative as they can.
Now, people try sometimes to vote strategically, and we know the candidates want them to do that. Oh, sure, your man is safe. Vote for me. Give him your number two if you want.
And there are some candidates that are already saying, for the love of God, don't do that. People listening to the Calling It podcast with Ivan and Sean this year who are saying, no, it's the death knell. If you say that I'm safe, there's 10,000 votes that I could have been getting that I'm not getting because people think that my vote
So
isn't needed.
really, should you go for the person you love best and forget about strategy?
To a point, the system is designed so that you shouldn't ever have to think so strategically because your vote can be made to work, and if your vote is not needed by your preferred candidate, it could be passed onwards. In principle, there is no need for you to do that. So if there is somebody who you think is your best preference, but you think they're safe, the system is designed that you shouldn't actually have to do that. I suppose the danger is that if you feel like there is another candidate who you think might be on the danger line and you want to do something for them, there is the argument that you could give them your number one vote and spare your actual first preference. But if everyone did that, then the safe candidate would actually lose because no one would give them their first preference.
But equally, if everyone loves X best, but Y is a close second, and Y gets all the number twos, but no number ones,
then they're gone.
Y is gone.
There is a candidate advertising within a stone's throw of this building that is looking for number twos if they're available. And the difficulty with Ireland's electoral system is if you are everybody's second favourite, but you don't get any first preferences at all, you are basically bottom of the leaderboard come the first count, and there's a good chance that you are gone straight away. So you do need to have a certain level of first preferences just to be competitive in the game at all.
Now, we know that the parties themselves sometimes divide the territory.
My only concern with this kind of system, it seems like a lot of things in Ireland are unnecessarily complicated, but to a point where no one really knows how it works, and it will make me question whether the people who count this, who make these estimates, do they know how to count it? Do they know how to calculate these votes? Or do they just look at a bunch of sheets and they're like, all right, now, your man John, he's the winner.
They say, okay, candidate X, you're getting your number ones there, and that's what we tell our canvassers. And candidate Y,
I
you're
have
going to
my
get the number
doubts.
ones in that part.
I
of the
have my
constituency.
serious doubts.
But of course, doesn't always
No,
hold.
because one of the things which is so fascinating for us professional watchers of all of this is that you might know within a constituency that there's probably enough support to elect one TD from party X. But if you have two candidates, it's that old limerick about there once were two cats from Kilkenny and yada, yada, yada. And instead of 2 cats, there weren't any because the two of them would split the vote so finely. So one will obviously want to be supreme over the other so that when the lower ranking candidate is elected, there's a good chance that you will get good transfers or preferences from them and they'll be the ones that drag you over the line. But the important thing is that you have to outrank them on first preference votes or else it's likely to be you that gets eliminated first.
Now, talk to me about going the whole way down the paper. Is that a good idea?
It depends on whether you are passive about other candidates or not. As we mentioned, it is entirely legitimate if somebody wants to cast number 1 on their ballot. And
Suppose you
simply
put X instead of number 1, and it's the only mark on your paper.
X is permissible, but as long as it's the only mark. The general rules are that you're not allowed any handwriting on a
Okay,
paper.
so if you put opposite your
Okay, so you can just select one and not select anyone, but then you lose the rest of your priorities, it seems.
bumper,
Yeah.
the best of a bad lot.
Not allowed. Because handwriting will make you identifiable, at least in principle. I mean, it's very difficult for anyone to look at that and go, that's Pat's handwriting there, or that's Gavin's handwriting. But at least in principle, you can make yourself identifiable, so you're not allowed to do that. If you mark an X, that is understood to be your one and only
your plump.
preference. But if you're doing numbers, you have to start with a 1 and then go to somewhere else and write a 2 and write a 3. I have seen, by the way, in the local elections only a few months ago, quite a few people who thought that you could put an X beside any number of candidates because you could vote equally for any number of them. You have to have preferences. So you have to say somebody is my number 1, somebody is my number 2, somebody is my number 3.
How do
and so
they
on.
calculate the quota?
This is often misunderstood, and actually I think I'm quite arithmetic.
Oh, what is the realistic trips mod? I have a feeling like this name rings a bell. What is it? Is it for public transport?
Minded, so maybe it comes more naturally to me, but I think this is relatively easy to understand. If there are, for example, Pat, if there are 100 people casting their votes and you're only electing one person to a job, what is the minimum number that person needs to make sure that they are absolutely elected? If there's only one job to fill, 50 votes might not.
By the way, we're doing something. This is my Achilles heel. Like, I hated this part of getting the tunnels aligned perfectly, because I have to have like the ceiling of the fucking tunnel aligned perfectly with the edge of my roundabout here, and then I'm gonna have to line the concrete blocks over it to match. It's such a finicky process with these ones.
Be enough because somebody else could also get 50 votes. So half the vote isn't enough.
Oh, that sounds kind of interesting. Honestly, I feel like maybe once the town starts growing, I'm going to get something like that, and just to see if it would work in like a realistic scenario. Which honestly, I can't wait for a stadium asset. I wanna put a stadium here. I feel like this is such a great spot for a stadium. Like, imagine that, the people here sitting on the tiered Dockland Park, overlooking over here, and there's like a massive stadium. I feel like that would be it.
What you need is one more than half the vote. So 51 votes would make sure that you're absolutely secure. That's the quota. If you have 100 voters and you are electing 2 people, 30.
Imagine all the Kibola. Actually, I remembered something. I remembered something. Something really funny the other day. Kasia Babis was debunking this racist dude in Channel 0 on YouTube. Mazurek. He's one of the journalists in. Kind of like a right-wing podcast media channel on YouTube in Poland, and he is a racist who doesn't know that he's racist, or like at least he thinks he's not racist, but everything he says is racist. And he was saying how people with darker skin color are statistically more likely to commit crimes, and he theorized that it's something to do with their genetics, which is just so awful, like so awful. and the way he was describing it, he was saying how these hordes of barbarians on the streets of Western Europe are attacking women on the streets, and I love how Kasia Babis targeted it, because she was like, "Oh yeah, because you have never been to a Wisła Kraków match before, where hordes of white, bald-headed I don't even call them football fans, because they're not. They're just going there to fight. Self-proclaimed football fans take words. My God, my brain's not working. They take apart the fucking stadiums. They throw seats at the spectators. They fight everyone on the streets and basically cause a lot of damage and destroy the city wherever the match is happening at. I wonder it has something to do with genetics. Like, fucking idiot. I hate these what is it called? No, it's not epigenetics. Epigenetics is something else. This theory that Hitler put forward about the Jews is the same shit that we've been talking about for the past 100 years. The people that believe in the master race, basically. The idiots of the world. Because, sorry, they are idiots. They are absolute fucking idiots and evil people. That's what they are. I have no patience for these master race fucking idiots. Anyways, let's continue. I don't know how we ended up here.
33 votes might not be enough, because you could have two other people that also get 33. So then what do you do? But if you get 34, one vote more than a third, then you're safe. So effectively, people sometimes think of it as being some kind of a threshold. Really, it's just a target. It's the number beyond which you are unassailable. So in a 4-seat constituency, if you get one more than 1/5 of the vote, it's impossible for 4 other people to catch you. So that's the quota. So there's a mathematical way of doing it, but basically one more than the number of seats that is available, add 1 to it, and that is the quota. And when we're doing the counts, any votes that are beyond the quota are considered to be the surplus, and they are the votes that can be passed onwards to somebody else.
And that could be the second count, would be the distribution of a surplus.
Yeah.
You eliminate a candidate then when they no longer have any prospect of getting elected. How can they eliminate multiple candidates?
If there are so many candidates down at the bottom that effectively none of them could save any other, then you can eliminate more of them at once. So the rule is that you have to look at the bottom candidate on the leaderboard and hypothetically imagine if every single one of their votes went to the person who is second from bottom on the leaderboard. Could that person be saved? And if the answer is no, even if every single ballot couldn't put them any higher up, then you can eliminate multiples at the same time. Sometimes professional election watchers don't like that, because it means it's harder to determine who the supporters of candidates.
How can I become a professional election watcher, or where do I apply for that?
Would like as their second preference, but it does make the count speedier, that instead of having a count where you already know who's going to be bottom next time, you can just eliminate more of them at the same time.
Now, these are conundrums coming up from our listeners. So if I want to give my first vote to someone who's guaranteed to be eliminated, a no-hoper in other words, and my second vote to someone who's guaranteed to be elected, I'm safe to vote accordingly without my number 2 being eliminated.
If your first candidate you believe is a no-hoper, you should give them your number 1, because if they are genuinely your first preference, you should do so. If you anticipate that they're gone, then you know that your subsequent preference can be passed onwards. And if that's going to a relatively safe candidate who you think is going to get in quite easily anyway, then you should feel free to do that, because if you have a third preference, there's a good chance that your ballot paper will be passed onwards, and that then you might be able to save somebody beyond your second preference. So your vote can work as hard as you like, provided you fill out that many.
Okay, no, I have 30 more minutes, because I have to pick up Neff from his work. I almost forgot about him. Alexa, are you there?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm here.
Alexa,
Alice?
set a timer for 30 minutes. Alexa, remind me in 30 minutes to go pick up Neff from his work.
Okay, I'll remind you in 30 minutes.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Boxes on the form in the first place.
Now, some more questions. I'm not in the country on the 29th. Can I vote somewhere in advance? That's from Stephen and Carla.
No, you can't. And if you were leaving for work, the window to register for a postal vote has already closed. It was Tuesday of last week. The situation regarding registration for that
Shame.
is obnoxiously slow. You have very little time to be able to register for these things.
And all this talk of early voting in the United States has probably given people ideas.
Yeah, well, and probably rightly so, because they see it as being rather convenient, and that if you just have other plans that aren't related to work, or that if you just had a holiday booked but you'd like to be able to cast your vote, in principle, I think a lot of people would say you shouldn't be debarred from doing so, but Irish law doesn't allow for that, unfortunately.
A suggestion that we should teach what you've just been teaching us in secondary schools.
I don't mean to. There is. It's part of the
Yeah.
CSPE curriculum, but sometimes people don't often kind of grasp the numeracy of it. Not to give
No.
myself an entirely shameless plug, but if one were to go to my
Yes,
social media,
But this whole CSP argument is a little bit dumb, because like I remember being in those CSP classes, and most of the time my teacher was hungover, and we were watching Love Actually like 5 times on repeat throughout the entire year, and we have never, not a single one time, discussed anything of value.
media profiles, just search Gav Riley anywhere. There's a pinned video in which I explain the whole thing using Smarties, which I know was quite popular in a lot of primary schools last May.
Now, this one. Could one really say that our voting system works when 2 men who were barely elected in their own constituencies following 6 or 7 counts can go on to hold the office of Taoiseach between them for several years?
You do hear this sometimes, that people think that a TD is somehow less legitimate because they didn't get elected until the 15th count, as was the case for Simon Harris in Wicklow last time around. He only got in on the 15th count, and I believe actually he got in without actually reaching the quota.
I believe that Simon Harris is the current Taoiseach, and Taoiseach is the Prime Minister, I think. Yeah, Taoiseach is the Prime Minister, and Taoiseach is Taoiseach. Is this the president, or is this? Wait, I need the terminology, because I love these Irish names, like Taoiseach. Who's your leader? He's Taoiseach. It's lovely. And it's spelled in an absolutely batshit crazy way too. Like let me show it to you. Taoiseach. Yeah, it's spelled like this. You see, Taoiseach. You know, Taoiseach. Who's your Taoiseach? Who's my Taoiseach? My Taoiseach is Michael Martin. And Taoiseach is the second ranking member of government. Okay, so like Taoiseach is the leader. Taoiseach is like his second in command. And is this dude? His lovely eyes, right? He looks so kind. Look at him. But who is he? Who is the Taoiseach? Simon Harris is the Taoiseach, and Michael Martin is the Taoiseach. There you go. Honestly, when I've seen them both on the news, my teenage Yaoist brain was in action. Like I would totally ship these guys together. Like let me show you. We have to cover this. So Simon Harris and Michael Martin. Like, don't they give you vibes? Look at them. Look at them. Like, wouldn't they? Do you think that they wouldn't? I think they would. I totally see it. And they run Ireland together. Like, the script is writing itself. Right? Look at them. I think, I hope that they have an affair. I really hope. I expect nothing less from them. They are the leaders of Ireland, after all. Come on, get to work. What are we paying you for? What are my tax money going for if not for a good gay leader drama?
himself. That is blind to a few things. Firstly, that if you are a candidate from a party with multiple candidates, let's say in Fine Gael's case in Wicklow in 2020, there were multiple Fine Gael candidates. So the Fine Gael vote was split amongst those candidates versus Sinn.
It's Fine Gael, not Fine Gael. I'm learning something new every day.
Féin, which was often running candidates alone. So if you're a Sinn Féin supporter, you only had one horse to back versus 2 or 3 for the larger parties. So it does split that way. But ultimately, the system doesn't determine that anyone is more or less legitimate because of which county they got in.
And then there's voter manipulation. I mean, Fine Gael under Gareth Fitzgerald, and he was the statistician par excellence. He got 3 people elected in what is now Dublin Bay South, 3 Fine Gaelers. And, he was on the cusp maybe of not even getting elected himself on one occasion.
And this
because he was
situation,
splitting the vote mathematically.
And it's often the case that,
That
we often talk on election day about if you have any aspirations of joining into cabinet, you sort of need to be seen to be doing your bit for the party by bringing home a running mate. Often that will mean having to sacrifice some of your own vote to bring somebody else over the line by making sure that your first preference voters actually go for your running mate from time to time. And that's going to artificially deflate your standing. So you don't necessarily end up topping the poll or necessarily getting in the first count. But the system doesn't decree between how legitimate or illegitimate
Once you're in, you're in.
Once you're in, you're in. And ultimately, and this is often overlooked too, the Taoiseach is elected by the Dáil, not by the people. So the Dáil looks around at the room and says, there's 160 of us here, who should be Taoiseach? And if that's Simon Harris or if it's Micheál Martin, then so be it. It's not
Or
elected
Pillow
by the
Mike.
people. Or Pillow Mike.
I have 9 candidates.
Okay, the Dáil is the parliament, like it's where all the governing people sit, and so you vote for the party, I think, and then once the majority party gets into power, they're like, that's our man. The new Taoiseach is, what's his name? All right.
Candidates in my constituency. Is it okay to vote 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the last 5 I don't want to vote for?
If you are genuinely passive about that other 5, it is absolutely fair for you to
You
say,
can go as far as you like
I have
down
an
the
order
list.
of preference for these 4. The general principle is that you can't help any candidate that you don't cast a vote for or a preference for. So if you are looking at those 9 candidates and the top 4 of them, you genuinely, I'd like that person, and if not them, then I'd like this other person. And if you get past those 4 and you look at the other 5 and say, meh, don't care, I'm passive, then it's fine. But if you look at the other 5 and there is still somebody that you would still rather give favour to than the others, you should give them your number 5. Or if there is one of those 5 that you think is an absolute cretin and shouldn't be left anywhere near the place, you should vote for everyone else to keep them out. Because
you can give them the last vote, it doesn't matter.
Because if you are a count staff and you're in the RDS or somebody else on count day and you're looking at that ballot and you say, right, this person has already cast their 4 preferences and those 4 are either elected or eliminated, I can do nothing more with this ballot paper. But if you don't want that, if you do want somebody to get in ahead of the others, you should keep voting down the line.
Final question. Why don't we have a box where you can tick none of the above?
Because I suspect it would probably lead to all sorts of enormous political vacuums where none of the above would win. I got my grounding in student politics where they do have a none of the above. There's a reopen nominations option on every students' union election, and they'd get elected more often than you'd think. I suppose it's one of those things where actually in multi-seat constituencies, you need to fill all of them.
actually a
If you
very
had
good
situations
question.
like in Westminster where you're only picking one, and if you just say, no, I don't like any of these, it could work.
It could be a good political message.
But if you're trying to pick 5 people from your constituency to sit for you in Dáil Éireann, how would you pick 4 of them and then say, actually, no, we don't want any of the rest? And ultimately, you have to fill the Dáil to elect a Taoiseach. You have to have a Taoiseach to elect a government. You have to have a government to run the country. So that's the way it works.
Very good. Gavin Riley, political correspondent with Virgin Media News. Thank you very much.
I think that we're gonna use a different one here. Okay, so we found out that the Irish voting system is incredibly complicated. One would think on purpose so. Purposefully so. It's almost like they don't want people to know how it works. It almost is like they themselves don't know how it works. Is this the moment I find out that we are ruled on vibes? And not just any vibes. We're ruled on whatever are the vibes at the ballot counting office on the given day. They just look at all the preferences and they're like, throw it in the air, catch one paper, and they're like, that's your man. Nice. I am astounded that this country still exists. But it is the turf I'm gonna die on. Fuck it. I'm with them. I love Ireland. So let's basic politics in Ireland. Let's have a look.
Ireland is a two-parliament democracy with an upper house, the Seanad, and the lower house, the Dáil. The members of the Seanad are appointed by the Taoiseach, universities, city councils, and a range of other institutions, however they hold very little power. The real power in Ireland is held by the elected lower house, where the Taoiseach or Prime Minister sits. Their elections take place every 4 to 5 years, but there are also elections every 7 years to elect the president, a largely ceremonial role in Irish politics. All Irish elections use single transferable vote, where citizens rank their chosen candidates. And the Irish constituencies have 3 to 5 seats available, so the parties often run more than one candidate to try and win more seats. But this system allows smaller parties to win seats, meaning it's now nearly impossible to gain an outright majority, so coalitions are often formed. Two parties have dominated Irish politics since their independence in 1921, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. Decades ago, Fianna Fáil was the more left-leaning of the two groups, but over time they both have become centre-right parties with very little ideological differences. But there are still two somewhat large left-wing.
Which honestly, it's something like I really love. Like, it almost seems like most of the parties in the government don't disagree. Like, they're just, like, everyone's on the same page, it seems. However, what I would say is the fact that a lot of our administrative processes run on the assumption of quote unquote sure be grand seems to be impeding our ability to get through some of the things that need to be done, such as the housing crisis. The problem that we have in Ireland right now is that the building permits for private property owners or like private landowners is that you kind of have to have been born in Ireland in order to have the permission to build a new house. And even then, it's extremely, extremely difficult. Like the city council, which is consisted of any county council can just reject your building request, building permit request on the assumption of your house project does not suit our vision for what the land should look like. Literally. It harshens my vibe, therefore rejected. And that's why there's very little like individual private building happening, and there's a lot of conglomerate massive estates being built for like massive multi-million euro deals being built, but these houses tend to be incredibly expensive, and at the rate at which people were coming into Ireland, it's not sustainable.
Groups in Ireland today. Labour, which has recently been in government alongside Fine Gael, and Sinn Féin, which has been led by Gerry Adams since its creation in the 1970s. Sinn Féin has campaigned for the unification of Ireland and is also active in Northern Irish politics as well, and for a while it was the political arm of the IRA. However, it's not necessarily related to the historical Sinn Féin party. Otherwise, there are also much smaller left-leaning groups like Anti-Austerity Alliance, People Before Profits, Workers' Party, and the Greens. And although these receive far fewer votes, they often form coalitions with larger parties to help form a government. Ireland gained its independence from Britain in 1921 after the Irish War of Independence. However, Sinn Féin, the party which largely led the Irish during the war, soon split up over the division of Ireland. This is because the treaty which ended the war kept Northern Ireland under British rule, and the independent Irish Free State was still a dominion of Britain. So the pro and anti-treaty factions fought one another in a civil war in 1922. The pro-treaty faction under the likes of Michael Collins won, and W.T. Cosgrave held power for around a decade. But the anti-treaty faction under Eamon de Valera formed the Fianna Fáil party, and they eventually took over in 1932. He launched a trade war against Britain, maintained neutrality during World War II, and drafted a new constitution which helped end their dominion status within the British Empire. However, he faced opposition from the Blue Shirts, the fascist organisation which at one point planned to march on Dublin and seize power. But this failed, and the fascists formed an alliance with the pro-treaty party to form the Fine Gael party. Plus, many other parties began to turn against de Valera after a gradual economic downturn. So in 1948, left-wing and right-wing parties united to remove him from office. John A. Costello became Taoiseach and brought Ireland out of the British Commonwealth, but the religious and anti-socialists opposed his attempts to give free healthcare to mothers and their children. So his cabinet collapsed, and Fianna Fáil was able to form a coalition with some independents and take power again in 1951. But in 1954, thanks to Ireland's continuing declining economy, another coalition allowed Costello to return to...
Actually, I have a fun fact for you guys. Did you know your man Stalin, the leader of the Soviet Union, you know that Stalin spoke English with an Irish accent, apparently, because the only people in the West that were like kind of friendly towards him, I guess, were Irish people. And my therapist told me this, and I swear I'm not a communist. Well, at least I'm not a Stalinist.
to power. But this coalition could do little to change the economy, and in the mid-50s the IRA re-emerged and launched attacks in Northern Ireland. So de Valera was voted back in 1957, and Fianna Fáil held power until the 70s. His successor Sean Lemass helped modernise industry and reform Ireland's previously protectionist economy. And after the IRA's border campaign failed, he began to mend relations with Britain. Then his successor Jack Lynch brought Ireland into the European Economic Community and carried on introducing welfare reforms. But the troubles in Northern Ireland flared up during his first term in office, and his cabinet was brought down in the 1973 election thanks to the arms crisis. This arms crisis was a political scandal that accused ministers, including future leader Charles Haughey, of sending arms to the IRA in Northern Ireland. So Liam Cosgrave of Fine Gael formed a coalition with Labour and took power. However, the world oil crisis damaged the economy, and the troubles in Northern Ireland became worse and spilled over into the Republic of Ireland. Plus, his attempts to forge close relations with Northern Ireland and Britain broke down when Protestant Unionists in Northern Ireland went on strike over the Sunningdale Agreement, which was set to allow British and Irish to control different aspects of Northern Irish politics. So Jack Lynch was brought back into office, but another oil crisis further worsened the economy, and Ireland had a deficit of over 17%. So with a worsening economy and IRA attacks in the Republic of Ireland, he resigned in 1979. In the 1980s, power was largely split between Fianna Fáil's new leader Charles Haughey and Garret FitzGerald's from Fine Gael. During the election of 1981, many Republicans voted for the new anti-H Bloc, a party set up in response to hunger strikes in Northern Irish prisons. This meant Haughey lost seats, allowing FitzGerald to form a coalition government to take power. But his proposed budget was defeated in Parliament, the coalition quickly collapsed, and Haughey won the election of February 1982. However, there was a huge scandal known as Gubu, which saw a murderer found hiding in the home of the Attorney General. Plus, Haughey's proposed cuts meant he lost the support of the left-wing groups within his coalition, so another election was called for in November 1982. Fine Gael saw a huge surge in popularity and formed a new coalition with Labour. Garret FitzGerald was able to work alongside the British in regards to Northern Ireland, and with the signing of the Anglo-Irish Treaty, Irish civil servants were allowed to work in Belfast. However, further budget proposals were rejected by the Labour Party in 1987, and the coalition again collapsed. So power switched hands again after Haughey won the election of 1987 and formed a coalition with the newly created Progressive Democrat Party. This party was created by Fianna Fáil members who began to campaign for both liberal economic and cultural reform.
And this video is very good, isn't it?
Plus, after years of economic decline and stagnation, Fine Gael agreed not to oppose any of the government's economic reforms. And Haughey was able to win another election in 1989 and radically changed Ireland's economy by making huge cuts in the public sector and by creating the International Financial Service Centre in Dublin. However, his opinion rating decreased as scandals over his finances and phone tapping emerged, so he resigned in 1992. Albert Reynolds succeeded him as leader and, despite losing many seats, managed to form a coalition with Labour. And under him, Ireland's economy continued to grow, but his term in office was marred with controversy. For instance, some ministers were accused of giving subsidies to Larry Goodman, a businessman who exported beef to Iraq before the First Gulf War. Plus, he proposed Attorney General Willie Hinn became president of the High Court. But reports surfaced that Willie Hinn was refusing to persecute child-abusing priests. So Fianna Fáil lost a couple seats in by-elections and...
Yeah, this was a big scandal at a certain point in history. There's been many baby bodies found in like Sister Magdalene laundries where girls used to go to deliver children out of wedlock, and the nuns would be like, yeah, we'll give them up for abortion, but they would just bury them alive in their back garden. Like it was bad. And then obviously like all the pedophilia, all the, all the bad stuff.
In 1994, John Bruton from Fine Gael managed to form a coalition with Labour and the Democratic Left, a group that split from the Workers' Party. Plus, John Bruton became Taoiseach just as Ireland's economy improved a great deal. This was a result of many things, including industrial subsidies and low corporate taxes, which encouraged foreign businesses to invest in Ireland and increased trade with the EU. The Irish economy was then dubbed the Celtic Tiger because its debt plummeted, the economy expanded by about 10% each year in the late 90s, and unemployment fell from about 18 to 4%. Plus, divorce was made legal after a referendum, but like many Irish leaders, he too faced a number of political scandals and allegations. So in the 1997 election, his Rainbow Coalition went up against Fianna Fáil and the Progressive Democrats, but lost. Plus, during the 97 elections, Sinn Féin, led by Gerry Adams, won their first seat in Parliament since the 50s. Fianna Fáil's Bertie Ahern became Taoiseach, and initially the economy continued to grow. Ahern also worked alongside the British in setting up the Good Friday Agreement, which ended the troubles in Northern Ireland, so he was easily re-elected. But his second term in office proved to be more controversial. For instance, he failed to get the Irish to vote in favour of the EU's Treaty of Nice, allowed US military planes to refuel in Irish airports, and the economy stagnated. Nevertheless, he still won a third election in 2007 after entering into a coalition with the Greens. But allegations of cash gifts and loans given to businessmen forced him to resign a year later. Brian Cohen succeeded him just as the banking crisis of 2008 devastated the Irish economy. Cohen's sweeping cuts angered the population and didn't improve the economy. So in 2010 he had to formally ask the EU and IMF for money before resigning in 2011. Michael Martin led Fianna Fáil during the election of 2011, but they and the Greens suffered heavily because of their handling over the recession. In fact, for the first time both Labour and Fine Gael received more seats than them, and Sinn Féin took 14 seats for themselves. Edna Kenny of Fine Gael entered into a coalition with Labour and became Taoiseach. He introduced property taxes, improved the export sector, and made cuts in the public.
This guy, he was recently the Taoiseach. I remember him.
Public sector, all of which has helped Ireland's economy bounce back. But this too has angered the population, meaning all of the old parties have lost a considerable amount of support in recent years. Although Ireland's economy was poor just a few years ago, it is now the fastest growing economy in the EU. This is thanks in part to healthy import and exports. They import just over $700 billion worth of goods, mainly things like oil, cars and machinery, but they make twice as much money through exporting things like medication and chemical products. But there are still many problems facing Ireland today, one of which is emigration. In the 19th century, Ireland had a population of over 8 million, but thanks to famines and a poor economy, the population declined to a low of 3 million. This has climbed up to around 4.6 million, however many people continue to emigrate. For instance, in 2012 they had the highest net emigration in Europe. But this trend has changed in the last couple of years, and Ireland has one of the fastest growing populations in Europe, and many expect the population will continue to steadily grow. Yet, as many young people emigrate and the elderly return, Ireland has to cope with an increasingly elderly population. And some expect the old to outnumber the young in just a couple of decades, and say Ireland doesn't have a plan or the resources to deal with this. For instance, despite the growing population, the number of houses being built has dropped significantly, especially in Dublin. This has led to a housing crisis which has made homes unaffordable and left many people homeless. Otherwise, Ireland is pretty homogenous and overwhelmingly Catholic. And although the church's influence has largely diminished, abortion is still illegal, and the two major parties have remained
This is old. It's legal now.
somewhat silent on this issue. However, the Labour Party and many left-wing parties are looking to call for a referendum on this. In
Yeah, it's already happened. The information is outdated. The referendum happened, the abortion is here.
terms of party stronghold, Sinn Féin has strong support along the borders of Northern Ireland, but elsewhere, especially after the fall of Fianna Fáil, there doesn't seem to be any strong divides. So the main divide in the country seems to be along urban and rural lines. This is apparent if you look at the results of their many referendums, which are required if the constitution is to be amended. For instance, the results of the 2008 referendum to ratify the EU's Lisbon Treaty shows that people in the countryside are more Eurosceptic. And in 2015 you can see that the urban population strongly favoured legalising gay marriage. However, in most referendums the majority of regions don't
Hell
vote
yeah.
overwhelmingly in favour of one side. Otherwise, since the majority of the major parties seem to be on the decline, Ireland is seeing minor parties claim more and more seats. So unless a new or existing party rises to fill this void, it seems they'll have a number of coalitions for the foreseeable future.
Okay, I'm gonna end here because I have to go pick up Neff from his work. So, guys, that's all the time that we have for today. I'm gonna be back tomorrow with Baldur's Gate. I hope you enjoyed today. I enjoyed hanging out with you guys. I'm sorry again for my voice. I'm sorry for coughing all the time. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with Baldur's Gate. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. Hi Yorkie, welcome to the fam, by the way. Thank you so much, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye bye.